Welcome to, welcome everybody joining us for the first time. And you see the reason why Tenalytics is a rave and why people would always recommend for you to come to a Tenalytics session. And you get a feel about that today. Now, why are we here? And what is our session all about? I'll drive the session with you today. My name is Adeza, and I'll do a little bit of introduction before we get started. Our topic for today is how to secure remote and visa-sponsored jobs. So for those of you in the US, for those of you in the UK, for those of you in Canada, and across the globe, how do you even apply to jobs? Now, the way I'm going to break today's session down is we'll start by understanding what you even need to do before you start applying to jobs. A lot of people make the mistake by just jumping in, taking one CV, applying to 100 jobs, and expect to get any positive outcomes. So why have you been failing to get that interview? Why have you been in the UK for several months, you are done with your master's, you're independent, but you can't get a sponsored job? So what do you need to do? First of all, I'll walk you through a 6-step process, practical. Our session today will be very practical. We'll move from there to the career path you need to focus on. So if you want to get that job, you want to get that job in the shortest time possible, which career path should you focus on? Because you can't focus on everything. And then I'll chip in to show you how Tenalytics would play a major role in you getting there in the fastest time possible. All right, so who are we? Who is Tenalytics and what are we all about? Tenalytics is a leading educational technology company, and our focus is on helping Africans in Africa, Africans in the diaspora to make that transition into the tech ecosystem in different areas, cutting across data analytics, data engineering, financial analytics, data science, and so on and so forth. Over the last 4 years, we've been able to help over 2,000 people make that jump from the classroom to getting their first jobs in tech in different countries, from the US to Canada, to the UK, to Germany, France, and so on and so forth. And I'll share some of our success story so you get a feel of the type of people that have come to Tenalytics, learned with us, and they've been able to get jobs. Now, one misconception people have is you must be the most intelligent to get into the tech ecosystem, but that's not true at all. And this is where Tenalytics comes in. Just like so many of you, I started out trying to figure my way within the tech ecosystem, trying to get a job as a data analyst, and I didn't know how to go about it. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. I didn't study anything related to tech, no tech degree, no tech background. And my very first professional job was as a management consultant. Okay, so just like you, I also made that transition. So how can you do the same? And that's where Tenalytics plays a major role. So who is leading the session today? I'll be leading the session. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm a technology expert with close to a decade years of experience in data analytics and management consulting. Over the last 4 years, through the platform of Tenalytics, we've been able to help over 2,000 people land their very first jobs in the area of data analytics, business analysis, agile project management, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. I've worked as a data science consultant in the UK and in the US. I've also worked with one of the largest energy conglomerates, privately owned energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa. And I've worked in the financial services sector as a data analyst consultant. I currently reside in Alberta, Canada. I've lived in the UK, I've lived in Canada, and I'll be sharing my wealth of experience with you today. All right, like I said, we'll have an amazing session. So if you have anybody who you think should be here, they're not here right now, send a message to them, get them on board. Let's have an amazing session together. And I'll use my experience to drive a lot of our conversations today. But our conversation would focus around 4 key areas. The first is how to apply to remote and sponsorship jobs in the US, in the UK, and in Canada. And for those in the UK, I have an alternative strategy that's helped Tenalytics participants land that job even faster than you can ever imagine. So you've been trying a particular way. You've been trying to apply to sponsor jobs. You're looking for that job vacancy that says, you know, it comes with sponsorship, but that's not working out for you. What are the alternative strategies you can deploy? I'll be sharing that with you today for free. Ordinarily, this is part of the things we do in our navigating the job market sessions for those that have joined our programs, but I'll be giving it to you for free today. We'll also look at the pathways to becoming a tech professional and where to apply to these jobs. All right. And the third part is where I'll introduce you to our upcoming cohorts starting on the 7th of September, 2024. And finally, I have an amazing, amazing offer, amazing discounts for those of you in the session today. Now, I've said a lot of things, and one of the things people would have in their mind, or one of the questions you would have is, how can I get started? Okay. How can I get started? I'm seeing some questions coming in. I would suggest that we have questions coming later towards the end. So we're going to have a Q&A session. Our session today will last for about 2 hours, where I'll show you all the things you need to do. And like I said, it will be very practical. And I want your questions to come in at the latter part of our session, where we'll have a Q&A. You'll ask questions. If you want to unmute yourself, or you simply type your questions in the chat, and my colleagues would answer the questions. And I would also look from time to time to pick questions and answer. So Adams, I've seen your message. I'm going to take note of that. And when we get to the Q&A, I would address your question. So the question is, have people gotten these jobs? Have they gotten remote jobs? Tenalytics, show me, tell me people that you have helped to get sponsored jobs, people that you've helped to get remote jobs, all right? And I'll be starting with that today, because it always seems impossible until it is done. A lot of people would assume and think wrongly that it's so difficult to get a job. The jobs are not there. So are there people that have gotten these jobs? And I'll start my session by sharing some success stories, people that have made that jump and are still doing it today within the Tenalytics ecosystem. And I'll start, first of all, introducing you to Abigail. Abigail was a care worker in Canada, Saskatchewan. She joined our business analysis program, and Abigail got a job as a business analyst with the government of Alberta in Canada. So currently, from a care worker to a business analyst, all she needed to do was join the business analysis program, learn the skills, join the mentorship sessions, worked on projects, and we prepared her for her interviews. We mentored her, and she scaled the interview process. And today, Abigail moved from a care worker to a business analyst from Saskatchewan. She moved to Edmonton, Canada, working with the government of Alberta as a business analyst. Now, what I've also done to inspire you is to leave the links for you to get to listen to some of these professionals. Okay, how did they do it? How can you do the same? And I would also play one of the videos for you to listen and get inspired. I'll play the video of Vivian. Vivian joined us. Her very first job was a remote job as a data scientist in France. Vivian moved to the UK and she got another job as an assistant manager in data analytics with another company in the UK. So you get to listen to somebody like Vivian. How did she do it? And how can you do the same? You also have Toyin. Toyin was a pharmacist before she moved to the UK. She went for her master's in the UK, just like so many other people. From a pharmacist, Toyin got a job as a benefits analyst with the NHS in the UK. Today, she works with the NHS as a benefits analyst, and her job came with full visa sponsorship. Full visa sponsorship from a pharmacist to a benefits analyst. You also have Ramat. Ramat was coming from a customer success role. She worked with British Gas, a utility company in the UK, as a customer service professional. Ramat was able to move from a customer service role and got a job as a business architect. After completing our business analysis program, she got this job with the NHS in the UK, and her job also came with full visa sponsorship. All right. Now, you also have Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin lives in Nigeria. He lives in Ibadan, Nigeria. He works for BBX in the UK as a business development analyst. He joined us, somebody who had no experience, somebody who had never done tech before, joined our data analytics program, got a job after 2 months after completing the program. And he lives in Nigeria, earning pounds and working for companies in the UK. And it's unbelievable, people would say, because those in the UK are struggling to get the jobs. But you have people outside the UK getting those jobs. So how did Muhyiddin do it? And I'll share everything with you in a step-by-step process. We're going to be very practical. How did Ramat get this job with the NHS? How did Tony get this job with the NHS? And how do we have over 54 Tenalytics alumni working in the NHS? I'll share how we do it. Okay, you have Abdul Rashid. Abdul Rashid lives in Abuja, Nigeria. He joined our data science program, completed the data science program, and got a job with Chow 420, working in the US as a data scientist. No experience, had never done data science before, joined the data science program, completed the program, and got a job as a data scientist working for a company in the US called Chow 420. That's Abdul Rashid's story. And I can go on and on and on, okay? But I'm not going to bore you with too many testimonials, because as I go along my session, I'll also share some of them with you. You have Joel. Joel joined our data engineering program late last year, September 2023. He completed his program in January 2024, and he landed a remote job working as a data engineer in May 2024, just a few months ago. You can also get to listen and watch what Joel has to say. In fact, Joel has come so many times to talk to other people about his experience, and he never believed that he could get a job like that he could even do data engineering. So how can you become like Joel? And I'm going to play Vivian's video. You need to listen to Vivian. For anybody who wants to transition, Vivian is the perfect story for you. Vivian joined our data science program sometime last year in February. She completed her program in May and immediately completed in May. In June, she got a job as a data scientist working remotely for a company in France. Vivian moved from that role and got a job as an associate manager, data and business analytics in the UK. And she started this job in April 2024. I'm going to play Vivian's video for you because you need to listen to her. You need to hear how she started. Just like so many people, it's always difficult. And the most difficult step is to start. When I was starting about a decade ago, the most difficult step was to start. All right. So one thing we emphasize, and I would emphasize on that as our session goes on today, is you need more than your technical skills to get the job. Joel is not the best data engineer in the world. Vivian is not the best data scientist in the world. Oluwadamilare got a job as a sustainability data analyst with BAM in the UK after completing our data analytics program. And today, Oluwadamilare started this particular role sometime in April this year. Okay, how did he get a job as a sustainability data analyst? You have Ikmat, who was a full-time stay-at-home mom in the UK. Moved to the UK, she was a stay-at-home mom. She had stopped working for 2 years, and she decided to move back into the job market. She came to our program, completed our program, and got a job with the NHS as a data analyst. Her job also came with full visa sponsorship. All right, so we're going to listen to Vivian very quickly. It's a less than 2-minute video, 1 minute, 40-something seconds thereabouts. And I want you to listen to Vivian, hear what she has to say, so you also get to know how you can make the same transition. And a lot of the things I'll cover today, Vivian spoke about them. All right, so sit back, relax. let's get to listen to Vivian. I'm just going to click on this link. Okay, and it takes us to Vivian's video. All right. So I'm going to share my other screen, increase the audio so you can all get to hear Vivian. Okay, so let's do that very quickly. So while I'm doing this, like I said earlier, you have anybody who wants to be here, who needs to be here, share the message with them, get them on board, and let them get, valuable free insights on a Sunday. Okay, so let's listen to Vivian and let's hear her story. Fantastic lady, made the transition, joined our data science program, got a job remotely, working for a company in France. From that job, she moved to an associate manager, data and business and analytics in the UK. How did she do it? So let's listen to Vivian.
The truth of the matter is, before I enrolled in analytics, I've tried to go online to teach myself, Udemy, Coursera, but then it didn't feel so right. They don't really give you some real life experience, exercises, talking about analytics and the program. It's going to be a one-on-one section on the weekends, and there are some mentorship sessions as well during the week, and you get to do 1 month internship or so. And I was like, why don't I just try this out? After all, I've been paying, why don't I just, sacrifice this little token? I know in Nigeria it's quite a lot of money, but I tell you, the value you get for your money is way above what you're going to be paying for. So I decided to give it a try, and I enrolled to see if it's going to be something different from what I've been seeing in other online self-paced programs. And I kid you not, from the very first day, we started having assignments, classworks, practicals, Excels and all that. And I learned what I couldn't learn in 6 months under 1 month with analytics. And it is just straight up, you learn and then you practice. It is practical oriented. It's less of the theories, but the theories are going to be there, the fundamentals, the basics for you to understand the principles of what you're being taught. But then it's like 20% theory, 80% practical, such that the moment you get into your first role, you begin to deliver just like I did.
Right, so that's Vivian, fantastic, absolutely phenomenal lady. Vivian today works in the UK as an associate manager, data and business analytics. And I'm going to share Vivian's profile before the end of today, because there are certain things you must do with your LinkedIn profile to get the same type of job that Vivian got. And if you listen carefully to what Vivian said, it's centered around learning not just the theory, the practical, and also your internship. And so many other things involved, which I'm going to speak about today. You have Oluwadamilare. Like I said, we're going to dive into the main meat. We have kept links for you. People that have joined, they've gotten jobs, they come back. You listen to Joel Akintayo, who is the CFO, Muideen, the gentleman who lives in Ibadan, Nigeria, works for the company in the UK. You get to listen to him. You listen to Karima, who moved from Nigeria to Canada and got a job as a business analyst after completing our program. You listen to Stephen Anointing, and I'm going to talk about Stephen's story as we move on today. And the full list of the testimonials, I've made them available. So you have access to watch and gain valuable insights that would inspire you to also take that move and make that push to get a job. So let's dive into the main meat. So the question on do people get these jobs? That question has been answered. There are numerous testimonials. So how do you get these jobs? What must you do? You can't just go out there and start applying. You can't watch a video on YouTube and start applying to get a job. You are never going to get that job. It's always going to be difficult. So the question is, Adeza, tell us what we must do to get these jobs and position ourselves for the opportunities that are available within the ecosystem. All right? So you must follow a 6-step approach. And like I said, I'll be as practical as possible today. I would first of all give you the highlights, and then I'll break it down one by one, explaining categorically what you need to do. So what's the 6-step approach that you must take? If you have a pen and paper, ensure you have something beside you and you can take notes so that this session would be, you take things away from our session today. Now, the very first thing you must do is select your desired career path. Select your desired career path. And I'll show you, again, like I mentioned earlier, you can't just decide, oh, I want to do UI UX, I want to do software engineering, you can't just decide, or I want to do product management. You must have an educated approach, deliberate, deciding your transition journey. And this is where a lot of people fall short. They jump from here. Today they are doing Scrum, tomorrow they are doing data analytics, the next day they are doing something else. So how do you select the right career path? I'm going to walk you through that. The second part is, once you've selected your career path, you must learn the skill. Not by watching YouTube videos, you would never gain anything. For somebody transitioning newly, the worst place to start is self-paced, trying to do it yourself. I have been there. When I was trying to transition myself, today, I learned so many skills that were useless to me because I was watching everything. There was nobody to guide me. There was no mentor. Myself and the co-founder of Tenalytics, Efemena, we met over about a decade ago in our very first jobs. So we're always trying to figure things out. I'll learn something in Excel. I share with him. He learned something in SQL. I struggled with SQL, structured query language, SQL. I struggled because I was trying to learn it myself. I'll write a query, I don't get the correct thing, and 2 weeks, I'm trying to solve one problem. So it's important that for you to make that transition, you must learn the skill in a structured learning environment. It will save you a lot of time. I learned skills I never used. For example, I learned how to use MongoDB, okay? MongoDB, which is a big data, it's a NoSQL database, and I have never, ever used it for one day in my career as a data analyst. So it was time wasted for me. So how do you ensure you don't waste that time as well? So you must learn in a structured learning environment. I'll come back to break it down, like I said. The next part is for you to gain project-based experience. Make a note. Number 1, select your career path. Number 2, learn the skill. Number 3, gain project-based experience. People feel that for you to gain experience, you must go to the office, you must work in the 4 walls of a building, and that's how you gain experience. No, you can gain experience by working on projects. And this is the best way for anybody who is a medical doctor, who is a nurse, who is a banker, who is in strategy or logistics, and you want to transition to a data analyst role, a business analyst role. The best way to gain experience is through projects. And I'll show you how to do that. And you must build a portfolio while doing it. Okay, we're going to look at that practically. Number 4 is you must gain employability skills. And this is where a lot of people have interacted with. Most of the time, this is the game changer. Okay, it is the game changer. Because guess what? The best person that knows how to use Excel, Python, Jira, stakeholder management, gap analysis, you can build data pipelines as a data engineer. You are the best in doing it. That's not the person that gets the job. The person that gets the job is the person that has the right CV, the person that has the right LinkedIn profile, the person that can speak and communicate their skills and experience during interviews. Sell yourself during interviews. You can answer competency-based questions. You can introduce yourself. You know the different approach and structure to use in answering those type of questions. That's the person that gets the job. Again, I'm going to break it down as we move on, okay? No worries. I'm going to break every single thing down from 1 to 6. Number 5 is networking. I'll show you the power of networking and why networking is absolutely important. In fact, about, some would say 75 to 80% of the jobs you get would likely come through networking. And I'll show you what being in a community, like the Tenalytics community, how can this help you? We'll talk about that as we move on. Okay. And finally, the sixth step is mentorship. Mentorship would save you years of trying to figure it out yourself. I didn't have mentorship when I was starting, and it took me a long time to get started. I figured things out myself. It was very difficult, painstaking, and frustrating. And this is where a lot of people drop out because they try to do something. They're learning Python. Python becomes a bit difficult, or they're applying to jobs. And there is nobody to tell them that, look, rejections are a part of the game. Okay, so how do you use mentors to your advantage? And this is where Tenalytics comes in. All these 6 steps from 1 to 6. If you don't have this, don't bother wasting your time applying for a remote job, trying to get a sponsored job. You are wasting your time. So let's dive into number 1, which is selecting the right career path. Selecting the right career path. Is there an age limit? Absolutely no. There is no age limit to be here today. I'm going to cover all the different career paths. So just sit back, relax, let's have a fantastic time. So like I said, if you have a notepad, write it down because you gain a lot from our session today. So number 1 is selecting the right career path. And why is this important? I can't overemphasize the importance of knowing where you are going to. All right, making that transition to a career path that is relevant and would remain relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. I see a lot of people making that mistake. They come to me and say, Adeza, I'm trying to become a product manager. This is one of the worst career paths to get into today. It's in demand today, but guess what? In the next 5 to 10 years, the demand will drop. And it's not my opinion. This is data that is out there, and I'm going to share it with you today. You have people transitioning to become HR recruiters. And these are job paths that are going to decline when it comes to relevance in the next 5 to 10 years. So how do you select the right career path? Okay. Now, what we have done at Tenalytics is we can't teach everything. We can't offer all the programs. I can see in the chat people saying digital marketing, software engineering. We had a clearly educated approach to coming up with the programs I'm going to share with you today. And these are the different career paths that will get you the job the fastest. So you want a job, you want to learn a skill within the space of 6 months, you complete the program, you start applying to jobs, and you're able to get a job. Which career path should you focus on? So what we did, every year, end of the year, we carry out this particular task. We scrape data from the major job boards, from LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, CV Library, Monster, and all the major job boards you can imagine, from the major economies, the UK, the US, and Canada. All right, and what do? We scrape this data from the different job boards, and we analyze the data to see the jobs that were frequently requested by organizations. How many times did a data analyst position become available? How many times did a data science job become available? So the number of jobs hired, required by HR consultants, by organizations, we scrape that data from the major job boards. And we juxtapose that against 3 major criteria. Because like I said, you can't learn everything. You can't become everything. You have to, pick, complete, and move to the next, stage. So we looked at the fact that I can become a software engineer, for example, is a fantastic career path. Okay, is one of the career paths that are in demand when we scraped our data from the different job boards. But is it easy to learn? Can a teacher in the UK or a teacher in Canada leave that teaching job and get a job as a software engineer? The answer is no. It will take you probably between 6 months to 1 year to learn front end and back end, even longer. Okay, depending, the amount of time you can dedicate to learning that skill. It can take you anywhere from 6 months to 1.5 years to become a software engineer. So it's not easy to learn. Okay, so if I'm a nurse, I'm a support worker, I'm a care worker, I want to make a transition to another job. what is easy for me to learn, in the sense that I can learn that skill, apply those skills, work on projects, and apply to jobs and get those jobs. And I can also learn these skills within the space of 3 to 5 months. Okay, so we looked at that criteria. Another criteria is ease of transitioning. So how easy would it be for me to get jobs? Are there jobs available across the entire ecosystem? So ease of transitioning was also very important, because guess what? Blockchain engineering is a very robotics is a career path that is fantastic. Okay, it's fantastic. If you have the skills as a blockchain engineer, you're not going to stay in the job market for maybe 1 week and you get a job. But how easy is it to learn? How many number of jobs do you see out there for blockchain engineers? So you also have to look at that. So we looked at ease of learning, ease of transitioning, meaning that the jobs are in demand. If I go on LinkedIn, if I go on read.co.uk, CV Library, jobbank.gc.ca, I would see jobs across these areas, and are the salaries fantastic? So we looked at these 3 criteria and we came up with 8 different career paths, and I want you to take them down. And these are the career paths if you want to land a job the fastest, looking at the criteria, looking at the availability, the demand, the salary. You want to look into business analysis, agile project management and Scrum, a data analyst role, a data scientist, a data engineer, cybersecurity analyst, financial analyst, and HR analyst. And these are the 8 career paths you want to focus on. And I want you to make a note of it, because I'm going to ask you questions around this in the next few slides. Okay, make a note. These are the 8 career paths you want to focus on. So we did our analysis. We came up with these 8 career paths. But this was something we did in-house. We needed to validate it externally. So Tenalytics has analyzed data from the major job boards. We juxtaposed it against 3 major criteria: ease of learning, ease of transitioning, high and rewarding salaries. But do we have any external validation to what we've done? And this is where the Future of Jobs report becomes very important. The World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports. For anybody transitioning, you want to look at this report. You want to read the report. So you see the jobs that would grow in demand, and you see the jobs that will decline in demand. I've also kept the link for you, so you have access to download the reports and read it yourself. So the World Economic Forum from 2016 have been predicting where the world of work would be. Which jobs, which career path would grow, which career path would decline. So in the next 5 to 10 years, you can see that if I'm on this particular role, I'm likely going to be irrelevant. My job will get replaced, or I lose my job. This is how you want to make your decision. So at the left-hand side, you have the jobs that will grow. At the right-hand side, you have the jobs that will decline. Before I move to the jobs that will grow, if you look at the jobs that will decline, I'm going to circle some of them so you have an idea of what I'm saying. Product management. Being a product manager is great. It's a great job today. But would it be a great job in the next 5 years? The answer is no. The answer is what? No. Why? Because it's going to decline. Why would it decline? A lot of the new technologies, AI can currently do the market research, product market fits they are likely going to be doing as a product manager. You'd look at the investment fund managers, also going to decline. You'd look at training and development specialists, also going to decline. And we can go on and on. So many different career paths that will decline in demand, according to the World Economic Forum. Now, let's not focus on the jobs that will decline. Let's look at the jobs that will grow, because that's where we want to be. We want to select the career path that will grow in demand. So I don't find myself struggling in the next 5 years to learn another skill to transition because I didn't make the right decision at the beginning. Now, let's focus on the jobs that will grow in the next 5 to 10 years. Okay? Now, the first career path you'd see is AI machine learning specialists. So anybody in AI, machine learning, you are in the data science ecosystem. Okay, you'd see the business intelligence analyst role also going to grow in demand. Currently in demand and will grow in demand in the next 5 to 10 years. And you see the data analyst, data scientist role clearly, explicitly stated. So if you're in a data analyst role, in a data scientist role, you can rest assured that your job would remain relevant. It won't stay long in the job market, you snap up a job. So remember, we are walking through our 6-step approach. This is step number 1. How do you select the career path that are in demand and would get to that job the fastest? So you find yourself in the data analyst, data scientist role, that's where you want to be. Okay, that's where you want to be. Now, which other career path? Information security, which is cybersecurity. So you're in a cybersecurity role, you are a penetration tester, you are an ethical hacker, you are a governance and risk analyst, you are in GRC, threat intelligence, and so on and so forth. You're in the forensics department as a cybersecurity professional, you'll get that job. Okay, these are the jobs that are growing and will continue growing in demand. Next, you have the big data specialists, the data engineers, and the database architects. Big data specialists, data engineers, and database architects. These are data engineering roles. As a big data specialist, you are using big data technologies to manage huge amounts of data. That's a data engineer role. Data engineers, database architects, you build the infrastructure, the data infrastructure within the organization. That's the role of the data engineer. You have the process automation specialist, and these are the business analysts. The business analyst focuses on what? Processes in an organization. Taking a process that takes 5 days, optimizing it to take just 3 days or 3 hours. Those are process automation specialists, and those are the business analysts. Now, let's move further. You have the project managers, but not the conventional project manager, the dynamic project manager, the adaptive project manager, who is the Agile and Scrum master, the Agile project manager or the Scrum master, okay? And I'm going to dig down into that as we move on. You also have the network professionals, database professionals. So anywhere you see database, database architect, database professional, you're looking at a data engineering role. A network security professional, you're also looking at cybersecurity. You have the financial analysts. And of course, you have the data analyst and the data scientist, the supply chain and logistic specialist. So if you look at how we came up with the career path we came up with, it wasn't a guess. It was analysis, strategy, and coming up with these roles. So when you look at the roles that will grow in demand, it is clear what you need to select. It is clear the career path for you to focus on. Okay, so remember, you're looking at the business analyst role, the data analyst role, the financial analyst role, the HR analyst role, which is a derivative of data analytics, the data science role, the Agile project manager, Scrum master, the data engineer, all right, and the business analyst, okay? So you're looking at these career paths, and these are the 8 career paths you want to focus on. So before we move into the other aspect of our session, most of the time, people assume that because I have completed a data analyst program or a data analytics program, I can only get a job as a data analyst. But people don't know that as a data analyst, I can also work as a business intelligence analyst. I can work as a marketing analyst, a sales analyst, a logistic analyst, procurement, product analyst, customer analyst, and so much more. So what we do is we let you know, we teach you the career path that are within the same ecosystem. Okay, as a business analyst, for example, the job you get is not just business analysis, because I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, everybody wants to become a business analyst. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. It seems saturated, blah, blah, blah. You cannot be wrong in making that assertion. Okay? That is the wrongest statement you can ever make. Now, organizations today, there is a talent shortage across all the major economies. You don't have enough capable resources, enough talent with the right resource, with the right skills to get into those roles. So you have roles that are unfilled year in, year out. And as a business analyst, you don't only apply to business analyst roles. You can apply to a process analyst role, a change management analyst role, a requirement analyst role, a business data analyst role, a product reliability engineer role. And there's so many roles within that ecosystem you can apply to. And not just one career, not just one particular job role. And this is the mistake people make. And like I said, our session today will be so practical that we'll go on job boards, I would search for these roles, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. As a data engineer, you can get a job as a cloud engineer, a GCP cloud engineer, the major cloud platforms you have, Azure, AWS, GCP. You can get a job as an ETL developer, as a data modeler, and so on and so forth. So it's important for you to know the career path that are high in demand, the career path that will grow over the next 5 to 10 years so that you get into the right career path. So before we move to the second section, I want to know, type into the chat, because I can see so many questions in the chat, people typing and so on. Which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Type into the chat. Type into the chat. Which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Let me get a feel. Ikechi says data engineering. Abiola says data analytics. Helen says financial analyst, cybersecurity, data science, data analytics, data engineering. Fantastic. Okay. Vitali says data analytics. Douglas says cybersecurity. Kosisochukwu says Agile, Scrum, Master. Owusu says data analytics, and so on. Some people want to do 2. Ebenezer, for example, financial analyst and data analyst. Absolutely fantastic. All right. So that's the very first thing. So I want you to write it down. You're selected your desired career path. I want to become this. This is where I want to get into. Okay. Once you've done that, step number 2 is learn the skill. So I can see some of you saying, no, I have questions. I haven't answered the question. I'll take the questions as we move on, okay? We'll have a Q&A because I don't want to distort the presentation and I don't want us to spend more time than we have already planned for today, okay? So I'll take all your questions. You can be rest assured about that. So once you've selected the right career path, the next step is to learn the technical skill in your chosen area. And it's very important that in learning the skill, don't make the mistakes that we made. I made the mistake. All the experts you see today made stupid mistakes. And it would be very stupid for people to make those same stupid mistakes. And that's why I love to educate people. If you are transitioning, the worst way you can learn is through a self-paced platform. Self-paced. Oh, I'm watching YouTube videos. Oh, I'm doing Coursera. Oh, I'm doing Udemy. That's the worst place to start. I do Udemy today. I can do Coursera today because I have the fundamental skills. So when I see something not going right, I can think and I know what to do because I understand those fundamentals in that particular area. But if you're trying to do it self-paced from the beginning, you would suffer, you would struggle. And I've been there myself. There was a very simple task, a very simple problem in SQL. In fact, SQL made no sense to me when I was transitioning. I didn't know the importance. Why do I need SQL? It never made sense. So There was a task that required us, myself and Ifemena, we were working on a particular project. We watched the video, we did everything in that video, but we're not getting the same results. And it was frustrating. There was nobody to ask. You send a message, it takes another 3, 4, 5 days, 1 week before you get a response, and you can't move on from that challenge. So you spend longer trying to transition. It took me about 2 years to make the transition because I was learning on my own, trying to figure it out myself, which was very, very frustrating. The worst place you can start is figuring it out by yourself. So don't make that stupid mistake. I made a stupid mistake. Today I can watch a YouTube video, I learn something new, because you always want to learn something new every day. If you are in any of the 8 career paths I listed, you can't be static. You must always learn, you must always move. Okay, so I can do YouTube, I can do Coursera, I can do Udemy, but getting started, you are moving from a nurse, a nursing role, a support worker, a customer service professional, and trying to get a sponsored job, get a remote job. That's the worst place to start. And I'll show you the reason why as we move on. So you must learn the technical skill and you must be so good at them. Okay, this is the common, it's an expectation, it's a given that you have all the technical skills in that particular job role, and you are so good at them. And this is where Tenalytics comes in. How do you become so good at a particular skill? You must be able to work on what? Real world projects. You must be able to be in a real live session, a live instructor-led session. A session, for example, like the one I'm taking today, you can ask questions. I can write something on, I can write a code on my screen. I can write an Excel formula. I can write something, and you would also write the same thing. And if you don't get it, you don't need to wait for another 1 week. You can stop me and ask me, oh, Adaiza, I've written the same code. My result is different. And I can tell you, share your screen. Let me see what you have. And I can solve that problem for you. You must have somebody you can bounce your ideas off. You must have somebody you can ask questions and get that problem solved immediately. So it's very, very key. Okay. Now, while you are learning in a live instructor-led class, working on projects, you have a mentor, you have somebody you can ask questions. You also have a self-paced learning environment. So for us at Tenalytics, you have your live classes, and you also have your LMS, your learning management system, which is where you get to watch your videos on Sundays. When you don't have a live class, you watch your videos, learn, and you see what a particular task entails. You try to do it yourself. So Sundays are for your self-paced, you watch in the LMS. Saturdays are for your instructor-led live class. So when you combine these two, you have a blended learning approach. So you're not learning only self-paced, where you're figuring things out yourself, watching videos on YouTube, just like your YouTube, your Udemy, and so on. It must be a combination of the two. It must be a blended learning approach. And this is where Tenalytics comes in. All right, so you join a platform where you are in a classroom, you can access your live sessions. You'll see here with 10 PySpark, week 9 Apache. This is a data engineering live class. And I'm going to show you the platforms before we wrap up today. You also have your self-paced learning where you join the LMS, you can watch your videos week 1, week 2, week 3, all the way till you complete the program. Okay, and this is where you do what? You learn the skill. Remember, you don't want to go one route. You want to have a blended learning approach. Now, once you've done this, you also have what? You have an immersive learning experience because you can ask questions, you can try out things together, and you're working with industry relevant curriculum. People that have done the job, they're currently on the job, doing the job. They are the ones teaching you. So you're learning from experts, you're learning from people that have done it before, and they're simply just teaching you how to also get to that same level. Now let's move to number 3. Once you've selected your career path, number 1, you've learned the skill in a blended learning approach, you have live classes, you have a self-paced class, you have an immersive learning experience. Number 3 is to what? Gain project-based experience and build a portfolio. Now, I want to ask a quick question, okay? A quick question before I dive into this a little bit more. You want to buy a couch for your lounge or for your living room in your house. You want to buy a couch. You have 2 people. One person says, I have gone to a carpentry school. This is my certification. I am good with building couches. The second person says, come to my showroom. Let me show you what I've built. You can feel it. You can touch it. You can see the quality of that second person's couch. The first person only has a paper that says that, look, I've gone to a carpentry school and I can build a couch. Who would you give the job to build a couch? Number 1, the person with the paper certification for carpentry, or the person that has a showroom where you can feel the quality, touch the couch, and see different types of couches that that person has built. Who would you select? Type into the chat. The second person. Koli says second person. Abiati says second person. Chioma says second person. Everybody is saying second person. I'll give that job to the second person. Ayo says second person. Absolutely. Because I can already see what you've done. And that is what your portfolio does for you. So imagine you want to get a job and all you have is a paper that says that I am good in doing this thing. You're never going to get that job. What employers want to see from you is evidence. They want to see proof of work, proof that you've done it before. And that's where your portfolio becomes very important. And that's how you gain project-based experience. I have worked a decade, 10 years as a data analyst. I've worked on different types of projects. What we've done at Tenalytics is take those projects I have worked on, projects the co-founder has worked on, projects industry experts have worked on, and we curated them as case studies that you also get to work on. So you gain the same experience I gained. You gain the same experience the industry professionals have gained, and you add them to your portfolio, okay? So I'm going to showcase portfolios of different people. Victoria was in data analytics. You build a portfolio like this. Lemuel was in business analysis. And this is Gad Nwachukwu, a data engineer who joined us. You build a portfolio. It doesn't matter the program. All the different programs, you must build a portfolio. And like I said, this is your proof of work. This is your showroom. The link to your portfolio would be on your CV. Recruiters can see your work before they even see you. So they know how good you are. They can tell that, oh, they can talk, they can feel your work. They can play around with it and see how good you are without even getting to see you. And this is the difference most of the time. A lot of people have 10 certifications, but they cannot get a job because certifications are useless. Okay? And we have a saying at Tenalytics, and I want you to write this down. If you want to get a job, get a sponsored job, get a remote job, this must be your watchword. Competence over credentials. Competence over credentials. This must be your watchword. What is competence? Competence are your skills and your experience. So what type of projects? You want me to hire you as a data engineer. What type of project have you worked on? Can I see your work? Can I walk into your showroom and see the couch that you built? Can I touch it? Can I feel it? Can I see the quality? Before I buy that couch, before I hire you. But no, all you have is a paper that shows that you've gone to a data engineering school. I don't care about that. So this is a very important aspect. And I'm going to show you, because of time, I'll show you Gad's, maybe I'll show you two. We'll go to the data engineering and we'll also go to the data analytics portfolio. So you see what it looks like. So if I click on Gad's portfolio, okay, it's opening in a different screen. Let me share that screen. So it takes you into the portfolio. So typically what you have, the link to this portfolio would always be on your CV. So that recruiter can go, they can see what you've done, okay? They can see what you've done, the type of project you've worked on. God is a data engineer, for example, okay? And you'd see the type of project. He has worked on a payroll data integration pipeline, all right? And if you read the text, it says, this is a data engineering project to integrate and analyze payroll data across all City of New York agencies. The project aims to develop a data analytics platform to provide financial resource allocation and so on. We can click on this. That recruiter can click on this and see what that project is all about. This is your showroom. This is how I can tell that you're good for that job, okay? So if I go to the description, I can look at the tools that he used, the warehouse schema, the step-by-step description, the data source, the ETL pipeline process. I can see everything, the visual representation of what he has built. And if I want to go into the code, I can go to the code base and look at the code that God has used to build this data pipeline. It's very clear. And I can see the same thing across all the different projects that he has worked on. He worked on a project on airflow, worked on a project on energy efficient residential building. Okay, we can click on this and also look at it. Okay, what was the objective? What data set was used? The model, he used a linear regression, ridge regression, random forest, assembles, and so on and so forth. Okay, and we can see, we can open up the Python notebook. We can look at what he has built, the codes he wrote, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see his code, and this is where you know that God has worked on projects that are quality enough for a data engineer to get that job. Okay, so that's for God. I'm just quickly going to show you one more, and then we'll continue. And I hope you are taking notes, you are making notes of this. So let's look at Victoria Uchemadu. Data analytics. So if I click on this link, it takes me to Victoria's portfolio. All right. And I can see clearly the type of projects that Victoria has worked on. So Victoria Uchemadu data analysis portfolio. Victoria has never worked in healthcare, but she worked on a project called Deep Care Hospital ER Visit Analysis. And these are some of the things we put in place. So you understand that I need to have a diverse portfolio with different types of projects. Okay, so if I want to apply to a job in the NHS, for example, I can speak their language because I've worked on similar healthcare projects. If I want to get a job in logistics, I have worked for a company called Express Tech Food Delivery using Tableau. And I can always click, a recruiter can see this, a potential employer, a hiring manager, click on the link, and it shows them what Victoria has built, the dashboard. It's available, anybody can access it, interact with it. So this is a Tableau dashboard built by Victoria, okay? And it shows your total number of customers, average family size. So I can interact with this, okay? If I want to see people that indicated, delay of delivery and so on, I want to see if they agree that the delivery was late, they disagree, neutral, I can click and highlight what I want to see. So I can interact with this. I can click on disagree, and it shows me data for only disagree. I can deselect disagree, and I click on only strongly agree, and the dashboard would respond. And this is what we call a dynamic portfolio. So recruiters can test, they can feel, they can touch that couch in your showroom. So they must be able to see the type of projects that you worked on. If you don't have this, Redux Airline flight analysis using Excel, Nestle product analytics using Power BI, Zenith Electronics using SQL, you can't get that job. Okay, so this is very important. Okay, now let's move to the next level. This is what your portfolio looks like. This is what you must have for you to even start applying. Remember, we've not even gone to the practical part of applying. I'm going to get there. We'll look at different websites, and I'll be sharing a website with you today. For those in the UK, and remember, we have an alternative strategy that you need to take. So I'm going to move a little bit faster because of time. Once you have gained project-based experience, you have a portfolio, the next step is to gain employability skills. And I dare say that this is the most important. Out of all the discussions we've had so far, this is the most important. I dare say that. Without employability, you can't get that job. People don't know how to introduce themselves when they go for an interview. They don't know how to answer competency-based questions. And these are the questions that carry the highest marks during interviews. Remember, your competence is a combination of what? Your skills and experience. So as a data scientist, you're going to get questions like, tell me about a time you have built a machine learning model. Which machine learning algorithm did you choose and why did you choose it? You can't guess that type of answer. You can't memorize that type of answer. You must have done that before. If you haven't done it, you can't answer that question. But how do you structure your answer in a way that you answer that question constructively using a technique like the STAR approach? How do you introduce yourself? Or you're a business analyst, you get a question like, tell me about a time you have managed a process optimization project and you dealt with a difficult stakeholder. How did you manage that difficult stakeholder? These are competency-based questions that you need to answer using the STAR technique. How do you use that? How do you introduce yourself? STAR technique, S is for situation, T is for task, A is for action. What actions did you take? And R is for results. And so many other techniques, the SEAT approach to introducing yourself. When they say, tell me about yourself, walk me through your experience. Can we get to meet you? How do you answer those questions? You answer them using the SEAT approach. S for skills, you start by talking about your skills. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I'm an expert in the use of Excel, Python, Power BI, and SQL. Talk about your experience next. I have a decade experience as a data analyst and as a data engineer. I've worked in the energy sector, I've worked in tech, I've worked in telecommunications, and my last position was in the aviation industry. What is your achievement? What have you done? Are you a superstar? You have to talk about that. While I worked in aviation, I used my SQL skills to develop a data warehouse, which helped to optimize our reporting process, reducing the time to deliver the reports by more than 50%. It used to take us 3 days to deliver the reports. Now, then it took us just 1 hour after I created our data warehouse. Talk about at least 2 achievements while introducing yourself. And then T is for traits or type of person. Who are you? And you must always align your traits to what? The core values of that organization. So if the core values of the organization is punctuality, professionalism, teamwork, you want to talk about how you are a team-oriented person. You want to lead by example, solving problems, and punctuality is your watchword as a professional. And that's what has gotten me this far. And I would like to bring that into your organization to help you achieve your objectives. You must know how to use these techniques. And this is where people fail. People can't answer questions. They can't compose themselves. They can't sell themselves. Your interview is a sales pitch. All right? So you have this, you have your CV, your LinkedIn. Employability encompasses so many things beyond just the interview process itself. So you must gain the skills. And these are the things we teach you. So when you see Tenalytics alumni getting jobs, like I shared at the beginning, they went through this process. They went through this process because your technical skill alone cannot get you that job. All right? So you must have a CV. You must have a CV that would get you into the room. Okay, and for those who want to get the recording, before I continue, if you want to get a recording of today's session, all the materials, make sure you fill the attendance form. The attendance form will be shared in the chats by my colleagues. So you'd see Tenalytics Enquiries, you'd see Elijah, you'd see Lydia. So if you see those names, they send the attendance form, fill the form. That's where you get all the materials. I'm going to share my slides, all the links, everything I've shared with you today. You'll get that, at the end of today's session. Fill the attendance form. So you can't use one CV to apply to 100 jobs. You must know how to tailor your CV to job descriptions. And these are the things we're going to teach you how to do. How do you tailor your CV? How do you use one CV to apply to one job so that you get positive outcomes from there? So your CV review, your CV revamp, you have your LinkedIn optimization. Are you the person you say you are? So I look at your CV, I go to LinkedIn, and all I can see on your LinkedIn profile, you want to get a job as a cybersecurity analyst or a job as a business analyst, but I can't see anything business analysis on your LinkedIn. All I can see are your Sunday pictures after church on Fridays, your TGIF. I don't see things that relate to the career path we are moving into. On your job summary, you don't have keywords that recruiters are likely going to search for when they're trying to get people on LinkedIn. So we show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. We work with you. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, you must create one. We work with you to create one. Navigating the job market. This is the reason why we are here today. This particular topic, navigating the job market. And these are the sessions we have with our participants week in, week out. It's not just about the technical. You learn the technical in class, but without employability, you can't get that job. Where do you apply to jobs, for example? How do you apply to jobs? What must you do before you apply to jobs? If you can't see that job vacancy that says visa sponsorship, how do you still get those type of jobs, those type of opportunities? That's what navigating the job market sessions are all about, all right? Interview preparation, you have that interview. How do you go in there knowing what to say, knowing what to do? Okay, so what we do is you have interview preparation session. If you have an interview, all you need to do is go to the LMS, schedule your appointment. On the day you have chosen, somebody would meet with you, prepare you for that interview, and you know all the things. Most of the time, you have more than two interview preparation sessions, because by the time you are asked to introduce yourself, by the time you're asked to tell competency-based questions, you can't answer them convincingly. You go back, you prepare, we give you a feedback. So we look at the job description and we can tell the questions that will come up. We ask you those questions, simulate the environment, and that's where you also know what to do you know what to say when you get into the room. Once you get an offer, organizations would want you to provide a reference. Have you done it before? Where have you done it? So as a Tenalytics participant, you are not a trainee. You are not a learner, which is a mistake people make. You've learned a skill in the last 5 months. You are trying to apply to jobs, and you clearly, boldly put it there that I just learned it in 5 months. You're never going to get that job. Nobody would hire you knowing that your current job is a support worker. You have never worked a day in your life as a data analyst. Why should I hire you? So when it comes to positioning yourself on LinkedIn, and I'm going to show you a couple of profiles, Vivian's profile, Oluwadamilare's profile, people that have gotten jobs, how do they position themselves? Because that's very important. But just remember this, you position yourself as somebody working as a contractor or a consultant with Tenalytics, and that's how you get that job, all right? On the job support, so you've gotten that job, but I'm currently working with a lady. Her name is Nonye. Nonye joined our HR analytics program in June. Nonye got a job in July. So after completing her Excel, she got a job with the government of Saskatchewan in Canada. So the job itself is a program evaluation analyst role, which requires only Excel. And this is where we tell our participants, don't waste time in the job application. 1 month into your program, you would have had your CV review session, your LinkedIn optimization session. So you start applying to jobs. Nonya got that opportunity. She reached out to me, and I'm not sure if I can do this job. It's only Excel. Okay, so I've completed Excel. I'm confident. We worked with Nonya. She went into the interview, aced her interview, and today she works with the government of Saskatchewan as a program evaluation analyst. She joined us in June, got that job in July. And in the next couple of months, you'll be seeing Nonya's testimonial as well up on our slides. Now, why am I talking about Nonya's story? We are still working with Nonya up till now to ensure that she gets her feet on the ground on the job support. Okay, so I'm working on this particular project. I'm not sure exactly the type of questions I should ask or what I should do. We are supporting Nonya to help her, get all those things sorted out. Weekly mentorship sessions, which is where every week you have, myself, Ifemena, we walk you through all the things you need to do. You have the opportunity to ask us questions. You need that mentor. That person that'll tell you that the best of us get rejections. You getting rejection does not mean you have to stop the job application, and so on and so forth. And finally, you have your Upwork optimization, which is where you can get freelance opportunities and so on and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to, Grace says Excel. Yes, Nonya's current role only requires her to use Excel to work as a program evaluation analyst. And she's doing the job. She got the job just a month into her HR analytics program with us, and she's currently working with the government of Saskatchewan. So these are your employability skills. Like I said at the beginning, don't forget, I dare say that the skills you gain here are the most important. These are the most important skills for you, okay? So now let's move to the next. Once you've gained employability skill, what next? Adeza, what do I need to do? You said a lot of things today. What else do I need to do? Okay, remember this equation, the T plus E equation. Your technical skills plus your employability skills is what gets you the job. Okay, technical, T plus E equals the job offer. So if you have just the technical and you don't have a good CV, you don't know how to optimize your CV, you don't know how to tailor your CV to pass through the ATS system, you don't have a good LinkedIn, and so on and so forth, you struggle to get that job. Now, number 5 is joining a strong network, a strong community. And one of the advantages of being in the Tenalytics community, I'll share this very quickly. Stephen got a job as a data analyst in Glasgow, Scotland, all right? Now, the HR consultant that hired him for this particular job requested that he recommends 2 more people that could fill 2 other roles in different companies. Okay, so Stephen, this is Stephen sending me a message saying that, hello, sir, it's Anointing Stephen. I just want to say a very big thank you for providing me with a reference. Once I secure and start my offer, I would like to give insight and testimony in any of the mentorship session. So we bring Stephen back to, we have something we call body mentors. Okay, body mentors. So somebody like Stephen, who lives in Glasgow, Scotland, comes back to mentor those of you in the UK, particularly in Scotland, to also do the same things he did to get this job. All right, so he was telling me, look, Adeza, once I get the offer, I want to come share my testimony. I want to come share, the insights into what I've done and so on and so forth. All right. So here, this is Stephen saying, hi, sir, I'm writing to tell you that the job has been secured successfully and I'm starting next week. Okay. And I said, congratulations, Stephen. This is absolutely amazing. But that's not where I'm getting at. What's the story from this particular Stephen's journey? Stephen sent another message. Thank you very much, Adeza. I am still getting offers, but I don't know who I can recommend. If you have anybody who's solid enough that I can recommend, please share with me. they should live within the Scotland area. And I responded, absolutely, I'll share some solid profiles. So what we do, we send these CVs across our entire community. People apply, they send their CVs, we screen those CVs, all right, for the people that we believe would get that job. They're strong enough, they've done the things we said they should do. And 2 people from the Tenalytics community took advantage of this particular job opening that Stephen had provided. This is the power of being in a community. Another very quick example. Sunday Adelusi joined our data science program. He completed the program, got a job as a regulatory data analyst, and from there, he moved to another role working with Severn Trent as a data science specialist. Another role became open. Okay, so he got the job in Severn Trent in June 2024, a few months ago. Another role became open in that same company for a data delivery specialist. Now, Michael Adelusi did what? He reached out to the community, sent the details, and people applied. And guess what? Oluwaseun was one of the people that applied to that job. And following Michael's footstep, Oluwaseun also got the job as a data delivery specialist in the same organization, Severn Trent, in July 2024. And this is the power of being in a community that gives you access. Okay, Severn Trent is in the UK, so Sunday works in the UK, he lives in the UK, same to Oluwaseun, got this job in the UK as a data delivery specialist. Now, finally, so you can see the power of network. And the same way people get jobs, HR consultants, they come back to us to say, Adeza, we want to hire 2 data engineers, 3 data engineers, 2 cybersecurity analysts, and we recommend. And those people eventually get the job. We work with you, prepare you for interviews, and so on and so forth. Finally is the mentorship. This is number 6, before we go into the job application proper. Okay, mentorship is where you don't want to make the silly mistakes I made. You want to learn from my mistake and accelerate your journey. So mentorship saves you precious time. You don't learn what is irrelevant. I can tell you all the things you need to do to get that job as a data analyst, as a data engineer, as an agile project manager. What should you look out for? What should you do? Just like we've been discussing. So when people talk about irrelevancies, oh, I need to do this certification. I don't have a single certificate, 0. Adeza Suleiman, Efemena Ipro, the co-founder, 0. The people you've seen that have gotten jobs, 0. 0 certification. Why? The focus is on competence, on doing the job, not on having a paper. The moment you have a portfolio, the moment you worked on projects, you have that on your CV, and they can see your CV, see the type of projects, what you have on your experience. You have a CV that has all the right keywords to go through ATS, you'll get that job faster than that person who has a certificate to show that I can build a couch. But have you built one? Where is the couch you built before? So you save a lot of time. I can tell you categorically, don't focus on this, focus on that. And that's the power of mentorship. So we have experts, both internal, your Tenalytics experts, and external, your alumni network, and industry experts, tech leaders from across the globe. They come in every single Thursday evening to mentor you. You have the opportunity to ask me questions, and you see the type of topic you have. This is your live platform. Like I said, I'll walk you through the platform. This was a session that held on the 9th of August, last week, Thursday, the last mentorship we had. The power of focus. This was taken by the co-founder, Efemena. You have interview simulation. So we simulate interviews in, a large gathering. We create jobs, people apply to those jobs. We ask them questions where people are listening. We give you feedback and so on. The seat and star approach that I just talked about. And these are the things you see in your mentorship sessions. All right. You have career mentorship sessions, what I did to land the job. Somebody like Stephen, this particular session, I'm going to show you. Stephen came back, anointing, the same guy that got the job in Glasgow, Scotland. He came back to share his testimony to people that are in the program, what they need to do. All right, and these are the things that will get you the job. I want to hear from you. I want to learn from you. Tell me the one you think is the most important. Type it into the chat. We've looked at 6 different things you need to do. For those of you that took notes, tell me the most important one. We talked about searching for the job, selecting the right career path, learning the skill, working on projects, building your portfolio, and so on and so forth, okay? Tell me the one you think is the most important. Confidence says mentorship. I would like to get more feedback. Type into the chat. Employability skills, Ikechi. We are on the same frequency. Employability skills. Employability skills. Okay, let's see more. Internship, fantastic, Koli. You must have selecting the right career path, Kemisola. It all starts from there. If you select a career path that will stress you, then you really can't get anything done. Okay, now let's move on to the practical part of our session. Where do I apply to these jobs? Adesa, you said a lot of things. Yes, we've taken down all the things we need to do. Where do we apply to these jobs? I'm in the UK, I'm in the US, I'm in Canada. I want to get a job. What do I do? Where do I apply to these sponsored remote jobs? So we're going to look at how to apply, where to apply. And remember, if you want to get the slides from today's session, fill the attendance form. Very important, fill the attendance form so that you have access, okay? Fill the attendance form so that you have access. So let's first of all look at the popular job boards available. The popular job boards available. We'd look at the remote and would look at sponsored jobs. Now, make no mistake, these are just a few. And I want to mention this for those in the UK, okay, you want to get a job that will sponsor you. Mistakes people make most of the time is always focusing on the free stuff. Okay, oh, Indeed is there, LinkedIn is there, Glassdoor is there, CV Library, read.co.uk is there, and so on and so forth. I'm just going to apply to jobs right there. But there are websites whereby they are paid, but you get immense value from them. And one of them is UK Visa Jobs. A lot of our participants get jobs from UK Visa Jobs. And it's paid. And this is one of the benefits you get by joining Tenalytics. All right. So I'm going to show you what the UK Visa Job website looks like. And this is where you get all the jobs that are visa sponsored. Okay. Any job you see in your career path is visa sponsored. You get a sponsorship. The companies have a license to sponsor you. You get a COS and so on and so forth. Okay. So let's start where to apply. So what I'm going to do is we'll pick the career path. I'll explain it very briefly because of time, and then we'll go to the website and see how to apply to those type of jobs. Okay, so how do you get into the career path? I'm going to start with the business analyst role. We'll start with what? The business analyst role. Who is a business analyst? What does a business analyst do? All right, so let's take it very fast. A business analyst focuses on processes. Every organization has 3 major components: people, process, and pardon my handwriting, guys, people, processes, and technology. Okay. Now, the business analyst focuses on where? Process. If something takes 5 days to get completed, how can I reduce it to take only 5 hours? Now, let's take a very simple example. You have a friend. Your friend sells bags on Instagram, okay? So she creates content, sells bags on Instagram, and customers would send her a DM to buy the bags. But guess what? There are a lot of missed delivery. wrong address, getting the customer's address wrong address. And you also have customers getting the wrong product. These are the problems the company is currently facing. Why? So the business analyst goes into that company and does something called what? Process, create a process map. You analyze the process. Remember, your focus is on process. And if you look at the World Economic Forum, they called the business analyst the process optimization specialist. Okay, so you look at the process and you map out the as-is process. What is the as-is process? The current process. So what does the current process look like? So let's say customers call to make their order, call to order. And when they call, they give the details. Oh, I saw this black bag on your Instagram. It looks very good. I want to buy the black bag and so on. So somebody, a staff, would manually write down the details, manually take down the details. Okay. Now, when the staff manually takes down the details, that staff would go and check, maybe on an Excel spreadsheet, type the bag, find and select and find, is that bag available in the store? Or if she sees it's not available, they have to manually go into the store. So maybe check Excel, an Excel sheet, or manually go to the store. Go to store to confirm if that bag is available. All right. Now, let's assume the black bag is available. So they write the details, write customer address, and they give the courier to deliver. Guys, you have to pardon my handwriting, but I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I don't have enough space on my screen to write. So they call to order. That's the one part. Number two, the staff would manually take down. Oh, where do you live? Oh, I live on number 26th Street, Northwest Edmonton. They write it down, which is prone to mistakes. Now, this entire process, the current process, takes 3 days. Because there's a lot of manual involved. The business analyst goes in, maps out the process, look for those loopholes and gaps that have been leading to what? Missed orders, wrong address, wrong product delivery. So the person might have said a black bag. Is it a black Michael Kors bag or is it a black Calvin Klein bag? Okay, so you have not captured that detail. So the person wants the Michael Kors, but you've gotten the Calvin Klein to send to them. They get the wrong order, they send it back, and there is a whole lot of losses because you have not done the right thing. So that business analyst would look at the gaps. We want to do this in 3 hours or 5 hours instead of 3 days. What do I need to do? Instead of calling to order, we need to have a to-be process. What should the process look like? The future state. Okay, what should it look like? Instead of calling, we are going to have what? Customers order online. So we are going to build a website for customers to do what? Order online. And when they order online, they would have an inventory or order management system. So that order management system has been programmed with the number of bags, the type of bags. So when the customer goes online and they select a black Michael Kors bag, it tells them that it is available or not available immediately. Nobody needs to manually go to the store to check or to check an Excel sheet and make mistakes. Okay, now from this order management system, the customer would have entered their address, entered their details and so on, their postcode, so they can't make a mistake entering the wrong address. So automatically capture details, and from there, send to customer. So the process that took 3 days, because it was very manual, now takes only 5 hours because we have implemented an order management system in the websites we are going to build. That's the role of the business analyst. In implementing that order management system, we need to do what? We need to ensure that you manage the project as a business analyst. You know what the company needs, what features needs to be on that particular website. So you work with the software developer, you work with the UI UX designer, you manage that project and see the project to completion. You organize training for the staff on how to use that online platform. So something that used to take 3 days to complete now takes only 5 hours because the business analysts have looked at the current process, identify inefficiencies, and optimize the process through automation using a website where customers order online and an order management system. That's the role of the business analyst. And for you to do that, you first of all start with Excel, Power BI, and SQL. The business analyst in 2024 must have data analytics skills. So these are your data skills. Then you learn process mapping, which is simply looking at a process from start to finish. How does this process run? If you are in a company, you want to, go on leave. How do you go on leave? What do you do to go on leave? Do you send an email? Do you go to a particular platform and so on? And there's a process to everything. So you need to know how to map out processes using tools like Lucidchart, Draw.io, and so on. You need to know how to initiate projects, project initiation planning, because you're going to manage projects, Agile and Scrum for projects, software development lifecycle, requirement fundamentals, getting the requirements, gathering the requirements needed to build that platform, that website, building that solution. How do you gather those requirements? Through elicitation, asking the right questions, setting up workshops, setting up interviews, setting up meetings with all the different stakeholders, the customers. Oh, how will this platform benefit you? What features? You get user stories, okay? And stakeholder management, stakeholder analysis. You work with different stakeholders, internal and external. How do you rank your stakeholders based on influence? How do you communicate with your stakeholders? And of course, you need to learn AI for business analysis using ChatGPT. The business analysis program is for 4 months, 2 months in class and 2 months internship. And the internship is where you get to work on end-to-end projects. Your project involves you building a web application for the HR department in a company. The company's processes are manual. When people want to go on leave, they send email, hi HR, I'll be going on leave next week Friday, and so on. So HR misses the details. They need to confirm from the line manager. So it's a very manual process. So you would go into that company, work on the project, help them build the web application. So you'd work with a Scrum Master, a software developer, a UI UX designer, and other stakeholders in real time in building that application. And the program, you have your classes Saturdays, Sundays, and it doesn't matter where you are. You are in the UK, you are in Nigeria, you are in Ghana, similar time zones. Your classes on Saturdays are 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you are in Canada, you are in the US, a different time zone. Your classes are 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So the time fits your time zone. It doesn't matter where you are. All right. On Sundays, you have classes 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. If you're in the UK, you are in Nigeria, similar time zones. If you're in Canada, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Now, for some people who are in the UK and in the morning, 11 to 2, they are busy. They can join the class for those in the US, in Canada, which would be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. your time in the UK. So it's more or less like a morning and evening session, and you have that flexibility. Typically, a business analyst would earn an average of over £52,000 per annum. So fantastic salary. Remember the 3 criteria I mentioned at the beginning: ease of learning, ease of transitioning, high and rewarding salary. In Canada, you look at an average of about 74,000 Canadian dollars, and in the US, about 85,000 US dollars. You're going to learn how to use Trello to collaborate, track project tasks, Jira to track project deliverables, Confluence for collaboration and so on. And also you learn your data analytics tools. Okay, I have a lot of people who they call themselves business analysts. They don't know how to use Excel. They don't know how to use Power BI or SQL. You'll struggle in today's job market because understanding this helps you apply to a business data analyst role, which is a business analyst. This is a business analyst that has some flavor of data analytics within their current job function. So let's go to LinkedIn and UK visa jobs, okay, and see how you can apply to these jobs. Okay, so let's go online very quickly. Let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. So like I said, our session today would also be very, very practical. Let me move this here. Our session today will be very, very practical. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I'm struggling to do this. Okay. So this is LinkedIn. Now, let's search for the business analyst role. The business analyst role. So all I need to do, go in here, type business analyst, okay? Business analyst, and two things you want to take into consideration because LinkedIn would want to take your location. They would also want to take, you want to apply certain filters to how you search for the job. So I'm going to click on jobs first of all. Okay, so I want to see business analyst jobs. And you would see so many different types of jobs. Okay, but now it's picking my location. I want to select. So this is Canada. Okay, so you see the business systems analyst. Business systems analyst is another variation of the business analyst role. Okay, so as a business systems analyst, what are you doing? What will you do as a business systems analyst? Your role is what? You are eliciting information. Do you remember seeing elicit as part of the requirement? Okay, when I shared my slide, you'd see elicitation as part of the things you do as a business analyst. You prioritize, define business needs, define business requirements, requirements gathering. Okay, okay, you'd also on standardized and undocumented processes, you're going to document them, excellent interpersonal skills, and so on and so forth, okay? So you'd also see what type of skills, tools you need to learn. Excellent Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint, and so on. Now, imagine you have all the other skills, but you don't have Excel. How do you apply to this job? It becomes difficult. But now let's take it a notch further. Let's go to remote, because remember, we are searching for remote jobs. So I'll go to remote, fully remote. Give me just the remote jobs available. All right. So you see different jobs. We have one of our participants working with Telos. Telos in Canada. Telos is one of the largest telecommunications companies you'd find in Canada. HR business analysts, okay, is a remote job. And you can check, these type of jobs. What will I be doing, on this particular role? And these are business analyst jobs. Now, the amazing stuff is the jobs you see on LinkedIn are different from the jobs you see in other regions. Totally different, okay? So digital business analysts, you also get to see what does the job entail, what am I going to be doing, and so on and so forth. And this is where you start to apply to remote job opportunities. Okay, business analyst, this was posted about 2 weeks ago, is in Victoria, BC. Okay, and you'd see the requirements. Okay, engage, develop strong relationships with internal stakeholders, accept with user acceptance testing, UAT, and so on and so forth. Okay, and these are your responsibilities and what you'll be expected to do. Experience using Jira, okay, experience using Jira, experience with requirement definition and documentation, and so on and so forth. The same set of skills that we've highlighted. Now, the beauty about this is I can simply just change the location from Canada to United States, from Canada straight to United States. Okay, and I can see different business analyst role. This is for Netflix, business analyst, workforce management, and you look at what the role entails. What am I going to be doing? I'm going to collect, analyze, and interpret data. So if you don't know how to use Excel, Power BI, and SQL, how do you do that? I'm going to develop reports and visualizations and also make presentations to communicate strategic findings using tools like Excel, Power BI. So you'd see the use of what? Use tools like Excel and SQL. Nothing, this is to get to work with Netflix, one of the biggest, the FANG companies. Okay, so when you look at FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and the rest. Okay, so you want to work in this organization. What are they asking for? They're asking for what? Excel and SQL. They're also asking for what? Data visualization tools such as Tableau or Power BI. As a business analyst, this is why you must understand Excel, Power BI, and SQL. So on a single job requirement, you have Excel and SQL. You also have Tableau or Power BI. But guess what? You're going to learn all of this in the program. And that's why I said, as a business analyst in 2024, you must have Excel, Power BI, and SQL. Now let's go to UK Visa Jobs very quickly. ukvisajobs.com. This is a paid platform. It's not free of charge. It's paid. It's not very expensive. For those in the UK, it's about £5 per month. Okay, about £5 per month. But what we also do is we make the jobs available to our participants. So we send jobs across the different programs that are available. And all the jobs you find here are what? Jobs with what? Visa sponsorship. You can see that clearly. Jobs with visa sponsorship in the United Kingdom. So let's start to search for jobs. So if you don't have, if you're not subscribed or paid, you can't get these jobs. You can't apply. Okay. So what we do is we check for these jobs and then we send them to our participant, because you don't need to apply on the platform. You don't need to apply on the platform. All you need to do is once you click, and I'll show you, once you click on a particular job opening, what happens? It takes you to the website of that organization. Okay. So I come in here and let's search for a business analyst role. Now, the thing about UK Visa Job is you have to be very specific about the job title for you to get jobs. You have to be very specific. So I click on search. We're going to see some jobs: business analyst with NatWest, senior business analyst, regulatory monitoring, business analyst. This is in Edinburgh. This is multiple locations: London, and so on. Okay. You'd see the business analyst with Shell, business analyst with NatWest. This is in Manchester. The first one is in Edinburgh. This is in Manchester. And this is where you apply to remote, to sponsorship jobs. All the jobs you see here are what? Sponsored. And once you click on a particular job, it takes you to the website. And these are the websites we provide to our participants. Okay, sorry, that particular job is not there. Let's check this. Okay, so we send the links to our participants. So this is a senior business analyst role, transition management. So it's a change management role essentially. Okay, and what are you going to be doing? Similar to the things we have seen in terms of your responsibility, looking at the big picture, excellent communication, ability to present complex technical information, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we send these jobs to you, you apply to these jobs, and all the jobs you see on UK Visa Jobs are all what? Sponsored. They are all what? Sponsored. So that's for the business analyst. We're going to still dive in. And like I said, I'm going to break it down, show you how to apply across different job boards. We're going to go to, you'd understand the reason why most of our participants work with the NHS as part of the strategy to securing sponsored jobs. So that's the business analyst. Now, let's quickly move to the data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer. The data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer using different job boards as well. Okay, so let's go there very quickly. Who is a data analyst and what does a data analyst do? So I'm going to explain this as simply as I can. So let's pay very close attention. Now, imagine that you run a store. You sell iPhones and you sell laptops, okay? You sell iPhones plus laptops. That's the business you do. You have a store, you have an online, you have a website, okay? So people can go to your website and they can order online. You have a physical store. People can go to your store and they can order, from the store, paying using the POS, okay? And people can also just do a direct transfer. They call you up, hello, I want to, buy an iPhone 15. How much is it? I'm going to send money to you, and then it gets delivered. So they can also do what? Order over the phone. Let's call it OTP, over the phone. Okay? Now, imagine that you want to know how many iPhones did we sell in the first half of 2024, from January to June. How many iPhones did we sell? That's the question you want to answer. But remember, you have a website. That's the one source. You have data. So anybody who orders online, they pay with their cards. That data goes in somewhere in a database. It goes into a database, on the website. From the website, it goes into a database with all the transactions that have happened. People that go to the store, they pay with the POS, with their cards as well. The POS also has a database. Okay, so all the transactions from the POS are stored in that database. And those that call and order over the phone, the data gets stored in a particular application, let's say on Excel. Okay, it gets stored on Excel. So somebody enters it. Anytime if a customer calls, enter the product they've sold, enter the amount, and so on before they deliver it to the customer. But remember, we want to know how many iPhones. That's the question we want to answer. How many iPhones did we sell? Half year one, H1 2024. So first half of the year, from January to June. The role of the data engineer, before you can do anything, before you can answer this question, the data must be available. The data must be what? Available. And this is the role of the data engineer. The data engineer would create what we call data pipelines, like the pipes that run through your entire house, providing water in the bathroom, water in the kitchen, and so on and so forth. They'll create data pipelines to move data from the online database, data from the POS database, and data from the Excel file into a central location called the data warehouse. The data what? Warehouse. That's the role of the data engineer. Without the data engineer, the data analyst cannot get that data to answer the question, how many iPhones did we sell? So the data engineer builds the data infrastructure, ensuring that at any given point in time, When any order is made online, the data flows from the database on the web into the data warehouse, from the POS into the data warehouse, from the Excel for those who make the transactions over the phone into the data warehouse. That's what the data engineer will do. That's the role of the data engineer. The data analysts can then access this data warehouse to get data, and the data scientists can also access this data warehouse to get data. Are we following? If you are following me, type in a yes into the chat so I know that we are all together. Type a yes into the chat so I know we are all together. If you are following me, type in a yes into the chat. Fantastic. Charles, Helen, brilliant. Ibukun, Gideon, absolutely fantastic. Now, the data engineer is the data provider. The data engineer makes the data available. Don't forget. Once the data is available, the data analyst can then access that data warehouse to answer how many iPhone. So the role of the data analyst, let's go to the data analyst now. The role of the data analyst is to access this data warehouse, get the data that they need to answer two key questions. A data analyst must always answer two key questions. The first question the data analyst would answer is, what happened? And what was what happened? What happened is simply, how many iPhones did we sell? You want to know what happened from January to June. What has happened in the past? So I want to get data from this data warehouse that the data engineer has provided, so I can tell and analyze how many phones, how many iPhones did we sell from January to June. When you're answering the question, what happened, it is called descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics. So that's the first question the data analyst would answer. The second question is, why did it happen? And I would explain what this means. Why did it happen? So now, how many iPhones did we sell? The data engineer has built the data pipelines. The data is available in the data warehouse. And the data analyst wants to answer question number one, what happened? So they'll get the data, use tools like Excel, Power BI, and build a chart. And the chart would look like this. So you have January, you have February, you have March, you have April, you have May, and you have June. So let's assume that in January, you sold 200 iPhones. In February, you sold 500 iPhones. In March, it drops to 100. In April, you sold another 100. In May, you sold 600. And in June, you sold 700. So this is what happened. We sold 200 in January. In February, we sold 500. March, we sold 100. April, 100. May, 600. And June, 700. This is descriptive analytics. What happened? This is what the data analyst must do. But when you look at this, if this is being presented to you, you would want to know, why did we have 700 in June, 600 in May? How did we move from 100 in April to 600 in May? Because if we implemented any strategy, we can implement that strategy going forward into the rest of the year. Okay, and that's where the second question comes in. The data analyst must answer, why did it happen? Why did we increase? How did we do it? Why did the number of iPhones increase from 100 in April to 600 in May to 700 in June? Why did it happen? And this is called diagnostic analytics. Diagnostic analytics. And this is what the data analyst must do. That's your role as a data analyst. Answer the question, what happened and why did it happen? So maybe in the month of May, you implemented a discount or a new sales strategy, and it gave rise to 600 iPhones. In June, you implemented the same, it gave rise to 700. So you want to keep on using similar strategies so you can keep on increasing. You also want to know, why did we have a decline from 500 in February to 100 in March? What led to that decline? And this is where you must look for trends and patterns within your data to help you answer those questions. And that's the role of the data analyst. Where does the data scientist come in? The data scientist, on the other hand, let me just erase this, and permits me to erase what I have here so I have space to write. Okay, the data scientist takes the data analyst work a step further. How? The data scientist would answer the question, let me use a different color. What happened? Why did it happen? And answer the third question, which is what? What will happen? This is the data scientist. They'll do number one, answer what happened. Number two, why it happened. Number three, what will happen? So if we have sold January, February, March, April, May, June, what would happen in July? What would happen from July to December? I want to know. Yes, we haven't, perhaps we don't know what, we haven't sold yet. Let's assume we're in June right now. But I want to know, from July to December, what would the number of iPhones look like? I want to predict into the future. I want to do what? Predict. So based on what has happened in the past and why it happened, I want to predict what will happen. So how many iPhones will we sell from July to December? Predict and tell me. So we know the number of stock we should have, so we meet customers' demands and so on and so forth. That's the role of the data scientist. And for you to answer that question, you must understand statistical modeling. Okay, so this is where statistics comes in. Statistical modeling, machine learning, to build what? Those predictive models to help you answer the questions. And this is where you must also understand how to use Python to build your machine learning models. So when you see the question, what will happen? You are moving into an area called what? Predictive analytics. Predictive analytics. So what happened is descriptive. Why it happened is diagnostic. What will happen is predictive. And that's where the data scientist comes in. Look into the future, look into your crystal ball, tell me what will happen in the future by building statistical models, machine learning models, and also using Python to build those models. Okay, so remember, the data engineer makes the data available, consolidates the data from the database, the online database, the POS, the Excel file, the data is available. The data analyst can access that data to answer what happened, why did it happen, how many iPhones did we sell, why did we sell 600 in May, 700 in June, so that we can sell more, implementing the same strategy. The data scientist will then come in to do what? Predict what will happen using different forecasting techniques and so on and so forth. And that's where you have the data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer. For you to become a data analyst, you must know problem solving, Microsoft Excel, SQL, structured query language, Power BI, Tableau, data storytelling, AI for analytics using ChatGPT, and Microsoft Fabric. Microsoft Fabric is a new platform, new technology by Microsoft, which helps you do all the different analytics stuff you want to do. You can build your dashboards in the cloud using Microsoft Fabric. You can build a data lake in Microsoft Fabric. I can be here in Canada, in Edmonton. Somebody can be in Edinburgh, in Scotland, and we are working on the same data lake in Microsoft Fabric. So organizations are adopting it. And you having the skill gives you a unique opportunity to do what? Get those jobs available. The data analytics program is for 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. Your live classes are on Saturdays. And it doesn't matter where you are. On Saturday, if you're in the UK, you are in, somewhere in Ghana, West Africa, similar time zone in Europe, you have what? Your class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're in Canada, you're in the US, you have your class 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Okay? And on Sundays, you don't join a live class. You have your what? You have your self-paced class. So you're on the platform. Jonah, please stop writing blessing. I think you're writing on my screen. Please don't do that. Okay? Please don't do that so that we don't have distractions. Okay, so on Sundays, you have your self-paced watch me do it videos. You watch your sessions on Sundays at your own convenience, at your own time. All right. The data science program, on the other hand, you start with statistics. That's the foundation for what? Predictive analytics. People learn data science by starting with Python. That's a horrible mistake. It's like building a house and you're building the roof. When you start with Python, you start with the fundamental, which is statistics. You learn Excel for forecasting and predictive analytics. You learn different forecasting techniques. The naive approach to forecasting, weighted average approach, moving average, exponential smoothing, linear regression, and you'd find out that Excel is a phenomenal tool when it comes to doing what? Predictive analytics. You'd also learn Tableau for data analytics, SQL, and before you move into Python programming. You learn Python for your exploratory data analysis, machine learning, computer vision, and also NLP projects, NLP, natural language processing. You'd learn version control using GitHub, AI for data science using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, and of course, Microsoft Fabric. The structure and the duration is just like the data analysts, the data analytics program. 4 months in class, 4 months program, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. Saturdays, you have your live classes. On Sundays, you have your self-paced class. So on Sunday, you don't have a live class. You watch your videos on the LMS, you practice, and on Saturdays is when you have your live class, your live classes. Remember to fill the attendance form. So you get my slides, you get all the details from all the session today. Okay, don't forget that. Finally, the data engineering program, absolutely phenomenal program. You are the data provider. Without you, the data is not available. And that's why the data engineer would earn more than the data analyst and the data scientist, because they have unique set of skills that requires technical know-how and so on. But guess what? All these programs fall under the 3 criteria I listed earlier: easy to learn, easy to transition, higher rewarding salary. So you could be a support worker, for example, and become a data analyst. You could work as a nurse for the last 5 years and become a data engineer. You could be a credit analyst, you could be a customer support officer and get a job as a data scientist. The curriculum has been designed with the beginner in mind. Okay, so you start with introduction to data engineering, you move into SQL and Python, which is your bread and butter for a data engineer. You'd use SQL is what you use to build that data warehouse. So you see the data warehouse I talked about. Oh, data is on the website. Data is on the POS. Data is somewhere, you know, on an Excel file. How do I bring everything into a central location? I'm going to build that using SQL as a data engineer. You use Python to build your ETL pipelines. You learn Linux for your bash scripting. You build your pipelines, getting data from databases, APIs. You script data from the web. You'd learn how to use Apache Spark and Airflow for your data pipeline orchestration and scheduling. So you want to build a pipeline that will take data from those sources. Whenever you are not there, everything is automated and it runs on its own. You'd learn AWS cloud engineering, but at the same time, you'd also work on projects on GCP, Google Cloud Platform, and also Microsoft Azure. So these are the three major cloud platforms. So that when you find out job requirements that where you need GCP, you've worked on projects, so you can apply. You've worked on projects on Azure, you can also apply. You'd learn Git version control with GitHub and AI for data engineering using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. Unlike the data analytics and the data science program, data engineering is for 5 months. 3 months in class and 2 months internship. Okay, Saturdays, you have your live class. If you are in the UK, Europe, Nigeria, Ghana, similar time zone, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. or 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. if you are in Canada, in the US, similar time zones. On Sundays, you don't have a live class, you have a self-paced class. Now, let's look for data engineering jobs very quickly, and I'll show you. And remember, for those in the UK, I have an alternative strategy for you to take to get that sponsorship job. Where should you apply? I'll show you how to do that, okay? If you're in the UK as a data analyst, the salary is about £40,000. In Canada, an average of 64. It could be more. We've had participants whose first job in the UK was £60,000, which is a lot for somebody getting into the space newly. But again, this is looking at the average. In the US, 72,000 US dollars. As a data scientist in the US, you are earning 6 figures at about 121 US dollars. In Canada, about 94,000 Canadian. In the UK, about 55,000 pounds. And for those in data engineering, absolutely 6 figures, fantastic. In the US, about 134,000. Canada, also 6 figures, 102 on the average. And in the UK, about 65,000 pounds per annum. So I'm going to, because of time, I'll go to built-in and I'll go to NHS jobs because we've done UK visa jobs already. Okay, so let's go to built-in. Built-in is, I used built-in when I was in Nigeria. The jobs I got working for companies in the US, I got them from built-in. Built-in is a fantastic platform. So let's go to built-in very quickly. And let's see how we can apply to jobs using built-in. Okay, so let's go there very quickly and let's see. So I'll go to built-in. All right. So built-in is tailored for the remote worker, it's tailored for the remote job. Okay, so you'll see built-in tailored for the remote job. Okay, so you'd see different type of jobs. But let's start. Let's check for the data engineering first of all. So I'll type data engineer. Okay, let's type data engineer. It's showing Canada as a location, but let's leave it at Canada. Then I'll come in here and I'll select remote. I want just the remote jobs. Okay, and I click on apply. See jobs to show me the data engineering jobs in Canada that I can apply to remotely. Like I said, built-in gives you absolutely phenomenal opportunities. All the jobs I got in the US, I got them on built-in. Okay, so this is a particular job role: data engineering, AI engineering, senior data engineer Rust, data engineer Python, and we can check for these roles. Okay, so like I showed you earlier, Python is one of that's your SQL and Python as a data engineer is your bread and butter. So if I click on this was posted 3 days ago. 8 locations, opportunities in India, Canada, Australia, and so on and so forth. So I can click on this and I can see what the role entails. Okay, and I can start to apply. Okay, so what's the opportunity? What do I need to learn? I need to demonstrate the ability to use Python, data frames like pandas and so on. Know how to build and maintain APIs to query data. Like I showed you, I'm going to get data from databases, APIs from the web, and so on and so forth, okay? So this is a role that the moment you are done with the training, you start to apply and you can easily get this job, all right? There are so many other roles, senior data engineer. We're not going to waste time because of time, okay? Come in here, you check what does this role entail, what is it all about? Come in here and you check the job, you know, SQL, you say SQL, GraphQL, and so on and so forth. And for anybody who completes the program, you can apply to jobs like this and get these jobs remotely. And you can simply go to, let's check a data science role very quickly, and let's change this to the US, okay? So data scientist, I'm going to change this to United States. And United States, guys, if you ever want to get a remote job, the US is your best bet. All the opportunities are in the US, okay? You want to get a job, a remote job. You are in the UK, you are in Nigeria, you are in Ghana. This is where our participants get their jobs, in the US, using tools like Built-in and so on. And you see the data scientists, we check this role, you see what the role entails, and you go ahead and apply. Okay, you go ahead and do what? And apply. So as a data scientist, there are certain skills that they want you to bring in. Can you see this? Statistics. Okay, so you must know statistics as a data scientist. Python, SQL, you know, and so on and so forth. And these are the things you are learning. You're going to learn in the program. You work on projects to showcase the skills you have, and you can apply to jobs like this. All right, now let's go to the NHS jobs very quickly. NHS jobs, okay? And so I'm just going to type it in, but I think the website is jobs.nhs.uk, if I'm correct. I think that's it. Okay. So I think it's on my other browser. Just give me 1 second and let's go to the NHS jobs. NHS jobs is one of the fantastic platforms. So when you see our participants that have gotten jobs in the NHS, we have over 54 Tenalytics alumni working with the NHS. Why? Because the NHS will give you that sponsorship. Okay, so I come in here, apply, get NHS jobs, and I just simply click on what? Search for jobs, go to search. Okay, and I can type for the type of jobs I want to apply to. So let's check even the data analyst. Let's search for a data analyst job. I want to keep my location as flexible as possible. So I won't enter any specific location and I'll search. So let's see what we have. So you see the data analyst, the closing date, 23rd of August, okay? It's a permanent full-time role, senior data analyst, malignancy data analyst. So with the NHS, you see some very funny title. We had a participant, his name is Mawutin. Mawutin got a job as a pathology data analyst with the NHS, okay? Information analyst, income analyst, lead analyst, and so many roles. This is just page 2 of 468. So there are numerous roles you can apply to. Data science roles, data coordinator, senior BI analyst, BI analyst. Let's check out this. Let's check this role out and see. What does the NHS want? And this is closing on the 18th, next week. And our participants are applying to this job, okay? So senior BI analyst, I want to go to the requirements and let's see what the person needs to learn. Now, what do you need? And this is where I tell people, in the tech ecosystem, as you're working in a career path that is tech related, there is no entry level. There is no senior level. I could learn the skill. I'm very good. I've worked on projects. I've listed Tenalytics as my experience and applied to this job, even though it says senior. What do they need from your knowledge? They need what? Knowledge in information flow, the data standards, extensive knowledge in informatics and BI technologies. What are BI technologies? 3 major technologies form business intelligence. And that's why I tell you, as a data analyst, you can get a BI role. Power BI, SQL, and data warehousing. These are the three areas. If you look at it tool for tool, is either you know Power BI or Tableau, and you add SQL to your tool. Power BI or Tableau and SQL. That's what gives you the job as a BI analyst. So there is nothing you see here that is overly unbelievable that nobody can apply to this particular job. All right. And this is why our participants get jobs in the NHS. We have over 54 of them. The NHS also gives you sponsorship. Okay. So you see so many roles: income and costing analyst, senior information analyst, and we can keep on going on and on. And you can see that these are recent jobs: closing 18th, closing on the 25th, business intelligence analyst, another particular career path. If you check this, you'll see what they require from you. Let's check out and see. Knowledge of what? Microsoft SQL, SQL. What else? Okay. Report to the BI manager. I'm trying to see what the tools they require. Good knowledge of SQL and reporting services. So you get to realize that these jobs are not, okay, so let's see this. Experience, right? Experience of SQL and reporting services, substantial experience in information service posts, experience of Power BI or similar tool. Guess what? As a data analyst, you learn Power BI, you learn Tableau. Okay, so what's here? What do you have here that you can't apply to this particular job? And this is why our participants get these jobs. Okay, doing all the 6-step approach, having your portfolio, and knowing where to apply. Okay, but like I said, jobs with the NHS, even though they haven't listed sponsorship, 90% of them come with sponsorship. UK visa jobs, 100% of the jobs you see there come with visa sponsorship. But let's say you've been applying to these jobs, or you don't have money to join Tenalytics and get these job opportunities sent to you. How can you apply? How can you search for companies that can give you the COS for you to get your sponsorship? I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so let's look at the last 3 roles, the last 3 career paths that we have. Okay, and this time around, I think because of time, I'll dive to focus mainly on the UK alternative strategies. But let's first of all explain what the HR analyst and the financial analyst would do. As a HR analyst, what do? You are simply a data analyst that focuses on people data. Simple and short. Your focus is on people data, which is HR data. So you want to get data on people that have joined the company. Where did they join from? Did they join from the website? Did they join from LinkedIn? Did they join from HR consultants? Because I want to analyze and know the employees that perform the best. Where do they come from? If I know where they come from, we can optimize our talent sourcing pipeline. When people leave, we carry out exit interviews. So we ask them, why are you leaving? Who was your manager? And so on. They tell you the reason why they've left, but you keep it aside and you don't use it for anything. But guess what? Once we are able to gather data of people that have left the company and are leaving the company, we can analyze that data, do an attrition analysis to find out, why are people leaving? What are the factors that are leading people to leave? And with that, you can have something we call stay interviews instead of exit interviews. So you identify people that are likely going to leave based on your analysis, and you sit down with them, you discuss with them, talk with them, and address those concerns, and they get to stay. So the HR analyst is that person that gathers HR data, people data, and they use their data analytics skills with Excel, problem solving, Power BI to solve those problems and analyze those problems. Okay, now the financial analyst, on the other hand, as a financial analyst, you are simply a data analyst. Decline. You are simply a data analyst that focuses on what? Financial records or financial data. So the HR analyst focuses on people HR data. The financial analyst focuses on financial data. So you are looking at the company, getting their financial records, helping them identify areas for cost optimization. Where can we save costs? Where can we optimize costs? You are helping to assess the company's financial health, assessing profitability, return on investment, return on equity, looking at different profitability metrics, and so on and so forth. You're helping the company identify areas for possible investments based on the analysis you have carried out. When you have changes in the economy, inflation goes up, unemployment goes down, unemployment goes up. How does this impact our industry and our company? You are the person that answers those questions. So you take the financial records and you use your data analytics skills to answer and analyze financial data. That's who you are as a financial analyst. So you'd see that you have the skills as a data analyst. Problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. Then you move into the core areas of accounting fundamentals, financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and of course, AI for financial analytics using ChatGPT. The program, just like the data analytics program, is for 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship, with the same time structure like the data analytics program. Your live classes are on Saturdays. There's a class for UK, Europe, Nigeria, similar time zone. There's a class for those in Canada, the US, similar time zone. Now, the HR analyst, on the other hand, has the same data analytics skills. And this is why you can get a data analyst job. And I'll show you an example of somebody that did that. All right. So you learn problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. But your focus is not on other types of data like the data analyst. You focus on HR type of data. Okay. So you are doing HR analytics and performance evaluation. You look at different metrics and the HR life cycle, absenteeism, how does it impact productivity, attrition analysis, and so on and so forth. HR analysis and dashboarding, collaboration and report automation, building your case and creating action, AI for HR analytics using ChatGPT. Just like the financial analyst program, 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. Similar time structure. Saturday for your live classes, class for the UK, Europe, Africa, similar time zones, class for the US, Canada, and so on and so forth. Okay, we have just about 10, 15 minutes and we are done, and I can ask questions and we can take questions, okay? Now, because of time, I'm not going to go into the website because I want to focus on the alternative strategies for those in the UK. So as a financial analyst, you're looking at £51,000 in the UK, $69,000 in Canada, $74,000 in the US. As a HR analyst, you're looking at about 38.5 per annum in the UK on the average, 71,000 Canadian, 62,000 US dollars. You can check built-in flex jobs, but flex jobs, just like UK visa job, is also paid. So you need to pay to get access to the jobs. It's for remote jobs, absolutely fantastic jobs. Okay, now, as an agile project manager or Scrum Master, why is this important? A lot of people study, they do Scrum and they are only Scrum Masters. Okay, why do you have to be an agile project manager? Why? Very simple. Agile, the agile methodology for project management has three, or the agile framework has three major methodologies. You have the Lean, you have Kanban, and you have Scrum. So most people focus on Scrum and they become Scrum Masters. And let me tell you how this helped one of our participants. One of our participants who also knew Kanban, of course, as an agile project manager, you learn all the methodologies. She worked for a company where she was a Scrum Master, but the projects they were working on, Scrum wasn't working for them. All right. And she was on the verge of losing that job until she had a sit down with the CEO and they had a conversation. Hey, Scrum is not working. We need to let you go. And she simply said, look, the reason why Scrum is not working is this, this, and that. What we are going to do is we are going to combine Kanban and Scrum together to form a new methodology called Scrumban. And this was how she was able to keep her job. Because she wasn't just a Scrum Master, she was an agile project manager who understood Lean, Kanban, and Scrum. So this saves you a whole lot. When applying to jobs, you can apply to more jobs. When on a role and Scrum is not working, you know exactly what to do. And as an agile project manager, what's your focus? Your focus is on helping the organization achieve the projects they are working on, leveraging different agile frameworks like the Scrum, the Kanban, or Lean. All right, and I'll give you a typical example. Imagine you sell, you want to build a fitness app. How does the agile framework help you? You want to build a fitness app. You're a fitness expert and you want to build a fitness app. Okay, this is where agile becomes very important. You want to build a fitness app. And in the fitness app, you must have three major features. The first feature is to burn fats. So people can subscribe, they can subscribe to a feature to burn fats, you know, and that's one feature. The other feature is for people who want to build muscle. And another feature for people who want to lose stomach or tummy fats. Okay, people who want to lose tummy fat. Now, it's going to take you about 5 months to implement the feature for people who want to burn fats. It will take you another maybe 1.5 years for you to complete the feature to build muscle, and take you another maybe 2 years to complete the feature to do what? Lose the tummy fat. Now, what Agile simply says is, you don't need to complete your entire project before you deploy it to the market. Like waterfall. The waterfall framework would say that complete things step by step, complete the entire product, the entire project, and deliver to the market. But with Agile, using the Scrum, for example, the Scrum methodology, we can pick up only the feature for burning fats, build the app, implement only burning fats feature, so you can deploy this into the market. People start to use the application. As they use the application, they give you feedback. And based on that feedback, you use it to improve the application and implement the same thing when you are trying to do the muscle feature and also the losing the tummy fat feature. So Agile is adaptive. It is not predictive. It is adaptive. You build, you give to the market, your users will test, give you feedback, you come back and you make it better. So you sit down in your Scrum team, you have your software developer, you have your Scrum Master, you have the product owner, and all the different members of the Scrum team. And you have something called your sprint planning, where you plan, okay, out of these 3 features, what are the most important? Which one do we need to build first and deploy? And you have your Scrum meetings, your daily Scrum, your sprint review. Once you've built a particular part of the application, you review to see if it meets the requirements and so on and so forth. Okay, so the importance of learning Agile and not just Scrum is because you can implement the 3 methodologies under the Agile framework. So you start with introduction to project management methodologies. You learn project management skills and communication, foundations of Agile and Scrum, the Scrum framework, the Scrum artifacts, Agile principles and practices, end-to-end use of Jira, Kanban boards and workflow, the Agile metrics reporting, leadership and real-world application, Nexus Scale Scrum, and we prepare you for the Professional Scrum Master certification, okay? The program is for 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. You have live classes both on Saturdays and Sundays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. on Sundays. As an Agile project manager, £52,000 per annum on the average, 74,000 Canadian dollars, and 85,000 US dollars on the average. You can apply to jobs, the NHS jobs, Glassdoor is another fantastic career path. Our last career path for today is cyber security. As in any organization, you are going to have data. You have data, you have systems, and you build networks. So you ask yourself the question, oh, we have different, you have different locations within a specific region. So you're living in the UK, for example. You work for NatWest. NatWest is in Edinburgh. NatWest is in Bradford. NatWest is in Manchester. So, but there's a network, a central network connecting systems here and there. Okay, you have sensitive data of your customers and so on. You also have your systems and who protects these parts of the business. Who ensures that external threats does not get access to your data, break into your system and your network, and that's the cybersecurity professional. All right, so you are there to protect the organization's systems, their data, and their network. And the cybersecurity program entails 3 major areas. The first area is GRC, governance, risk, and compliance. And this is where your focus is on implementing the industry standards and frameworks as it has to do with security practices. You have to ensure that the organization is compliant to relevant laws and regulations like the GDPR and so on and so forth, and maintain a compliance record. That's the first part of our cybersecurity program. The second part is threat, intelligence, and incident response. Okay, so this is where, as a threat intel professional, you are an ethical hacker, you are a penetration tester, you are ensuring that you are able to identify vulnerabilities. You do vulnerability testing to check for areas that are vulnerable for attacks. So you build preventive measures so those attacks don't happen. Now, once those attacks happen eventually, how do you respond to those attacks? Recently, you had Flutterwave, you had Patricia, the crypto platform, they were breached and monies were carted away and so on and so forth. But how do you respond? Do you have an incident response plan? How do you ensure that you're able to respond and recover from any breach that happens? And this is a very important area in cybersecurity. And finally, you have the forensics. So when that attack eventually happens, how do you get to the root cause of that particular problem? And how do you initiate a recovery support to ensure that you can establish the integrity of your data, the integrity of your system when a particular cyber threat occurs? So these are the 3 major areas the cybersecurity program focuses on. The cybersecurity is very extensive. You have the SOC, Security Operations Center, and so on and so forth. So you start with introduction to cybersecurity, foundation of computing and networking, information security principles, offensive and defensive cybersecurity, cryptography, encryption, decryption, cyber threat and attack vectors, network security, endpoints, web and application security. We all do transactions on the web. We do transactions on our mobile applications. How are those applications and, how are those applications on the web and on the mobile protected, the data and so on and so forth. Cloud security, incident response and forensics, and cybersecurity policies and compliance. The program is for 4 months, 3 months in class, 1 month internship. All right. Saturdays, you have a live class, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sundays, a live class, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. And as a cybersecurity analyst, 6 figures in the US, $105,000. In Canada, 6 figures, 140 Canadian on the average. And in the UK, about 57,000 pounds. Now, you can apply to jobs as a cybersecurity professional on LinkedIn, on Glassdoor, just to name a few. And I've shown you how to use UK Visa Jobs, which is paid, how to use built-in LinkedIn. Now we're going to end our session today with alternative strategies to sponsor jobs in the UK. So you've been applying, trying to get jobs, okay? Before I continue, I want to see, type into the chat. If you've been having a great time, type into the chat. Just type yes. I want to know if you've been having a great time today. I'd love to hear from you. Amazing, amazing, awesome, 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 fantastic. Now let's wrap up. Okay, let's wrap up our session. You've been applying to jobs in the UK, but you don't see any aspect of the job vacancy that says, sponsored job, or this is a sponsorship job, as the case might be. That's very common, but this is what you need to do. And these are some of the strategies we deploy, okay? Number one is you must stoop to conquer. Stoop to conquer by applying to companies with potential. Don't look and always focus on that job that says it comes with sponsorship, all right? There are organizations, you can check for these organizations and if they have the license to sponsor, and you can go further to check how many COS did they issue in 2023. So if I know a company that has the license to sponsor, I have 2 companies. One has the license, both of them have the license to sponsor, all right? But one of them gave out 1,000 COS in 2023. The other one gave 200 COS in 2023. Who do you think would give me a COS easily? Is it the company that gave 1,000 last year or the company that gave 200? Which one do you think I'll get a COS easily from? Type into the chat. The company that gave 1,000 or the company that gave 200. Who do you think would give me that COS? 1,000, absolutely. The 1,000. That company that gave 1,000 last year, it means they issue COS, a lot of COSs. So I want to focus on them. Okay, so how do you find these companies that can sponsor? And how do you find the companies that gave huge amounts of COSs? So that's what you want to do. That's stooping to conquer. Don't focus on the jobs that have sponsorship and all of that. Search for companies that can issue COS. And I'll show you how to do that. Secondly, be diverse in your job application. When applying, don't just apply to data scientist, data analyst role. A data scientist can get a job as a data analyst. Okay, and you'd see this come up. A data analyst can get a job as a business intelligence analyst. And these are the things we teach you how to do. So you must be diverse. And finally, you must apply like your life depends on it. On the average, to get a job in the UK, you need to have applied to a minimum, an average of 249 jobs to land a position in the UK. So I see some people tell me, Adeza, I've been applying to jobs, I'm not getting any interview. And I ask them, how many jobs have you applied to? Oh, I applied to about 3 jobs every day, 5 jobs every day. That's a joke. For you to get that opportunity in the UK, you must have applied to an average, and this is an analysis we carried out, 249 jobs. So you must have quality job applications, not just using Easy Apply. If you use Easy Apply on LinkedIn, hearing my voice today, never do that again. You're not going to get anything out of it. Okay, so you work on your CV, tailor the CV and apply. That's how you get the best opportunity. Now I'm going to show you very quickly how to get, I have the list, so I've kept the link for you. You don't need to worry yourself. There's a link to get companies that will sponsor you. And I'll just show you one example. So you can go back and do this yourself if you want to do it yourself. But these are the things we provide to our participants and the reason why they get jobs every other day. So, and I'll also show you how you can confirm the number of COS a company issued last year. So let's start with the first one, okay, which is, give me 1 second. So let's start with the first one, which is the list. So let's go to the list and let's see the companies that have the license to sponsor. So like I said, I've kept the link for you. So once you click on this link, it takes you into the UK Gov website, gov.uk. You have the register of workers and temporary worker licensed sponsor. Okay, so you can download into a CSV. But this is what the list looks like. Organization name, the town or city, the county, the type. A rating is the organizations you want to look for. Okay. Skilled worker routes. These are the, the routes you can take when applying for your skilled worker visa. So you want to look for the companies that have the A rating. But like I said, I'll give you one example so you can go back and do this yourself. In my opinion, the best thing you want to do is download the file. It opens up as an Excel file. So if I click on this link, you click on download CSV, it downloads the file for you. And let me open it and show you what it looks like. And this was last updated on the 9th of August. So it is very, very recent. It is very, very recent. Okay. So let me show you. This has opened up on Excel. I'm just going to drag this so you can see what it looks like. And this is where you get organizations that have the license to sponsor. Okay, so you can search based on the name of the organization. Okay, the city. You can search based on the county, the type, and the routes. Now, I see a particular organization here. And let's search for the example I want to give you. Let's search for NatWest. Okay, NatWest is in the financial space in the UK. Fantastic. They always have opportunities. And I click on find. Okay, so you see the NatWest group. All right, in Edinburgh, Scotland. It's an A rating license, skilled worker, and so on. All right. Now, once you've seen an organization, you can pick any organization from here. But you want to know how many COS did they issue last year. So I go back to that same slide. Like I said, I've provided a link for you. I click on this link and it takes me into this website called Company Jobs. And you can see 2023 Visa COS database. So I come in here and I simply enter, let's enter NatWest. Okay, I enter NatWest. I don't change anything else. And I click on what? Search. Before I click on search, if you scroll down a little bit, you'd see different companies. Proforce Limited, for example, the agri sector, agriculture. How many COS did they issue in 2023? 9,279. So if you get an opportunity, a job offer from this company, even though they haven't issued a seat, they haven't indicated that it comes with sponsorship, ask and request that you need a COS, a certificate of sponsorship, and you're likely going to get it. Okay, So you see Concordia, 7,785, Tata Consultancy, 6,755, and so on and so forth. Cognizant, we have one of our participants working with Cognizant, 2,034. So I can go to NatWest, enter NatWest and search. Okay, and search. And let's see what comes up. Now, this website, some things you might want to do, you might have to pay. Okay, but most of the time you can use it for free to do the things I'm showing you. So you see the NatWest group, and you see that they issued 535 COSs last year, which is great, meaning that I can apply to jobs in NatWest, and the chances of me getting and requesting for a COS and getting one is very high. So this time around, they have not indicated that it comes with sponsorship, but this is how you can be strategic about your application. So I can pick NatWest Group, for example, and I've kept the link for you, which you can just click on this link and it takes you to the NatWest job websites, okay, where they post their jobs. And you can start to apply and search for jobs. Okay, so I can come in here, for example, let's take, for example, I want to search for data engineering roles. I come in here, data NG, yeah. I click on search and I'll see different roles, data engineer. So NatWest, you have different locations, all right? So I want to select United Kingdom to be sure that I'm applying to the jobs in the UK. So I click on that, United Kingdom, and I'll see a modeler, a data modeler is a data engineer, okay? So you see those type of jobs that NatWest has available at the moment. I can come in here, I can type data analyst or data scientist. Judith, please don't write on my screen. Let's type data scientist very quickly. Okay, data scientist. All right, and I search and see if they have a data science role available. All right, so you'd see data engineer, AVP. You can, of course, like I said earlier, you can come down here, tailor your search to see what they have and what you can apply to. So if I click on this, for example, I can see the job role. Okay, so I have people typing on my screen. I'm not sure how to stop that completely. So please, if you are typing on my screen, please, you are distracting. Elijah, if you can stop it, please help stop people from writing on the screen. So you can see what you need, the skills you need. This is a data engineering role. You'd use Python, PySpark, Apache PySpark, Apache Airflow, and these are the things I shared with you as part of the things you do in data engineering. AWS, Amazon Web Services, is the cloud platform that you need. So there is nothing here that you don't already know or you wouldn't already have worked on projects during the program. And this is how you can also search as an alternative. And there are so many companies apart from the NatWest Group. Ernst & Young, Deloitte, Cognizant. You can target these companies, check for the jobs they have, and apply to these jobs. Okay, this job is in Birmingham. Okay, the closing date is in about 3 days on the 14th. All right, and our participants are already applying to these jobs. Okay, so we're going to draw the curtains, but people are asking, what does it take for me to join? I want to register to be a part of Tenalytics. And I'd love to share more success stories, but we don't have enough time. We have it on my slide. I'm going to leave it for you, and you have the opportunity to read through how people have transitioned, how Busola, who moved to Canada, joined us in the month of March. And in the month of June, Busola got a job while still doing her internship. I got an offer from them on Friday, and I agreed to it. She sent me this email to give me a heads up that the company would reach out for a reference. The company reached out to me for reference. She sent June 6th. I got the reference email June 7th. And by June 24th, she had gotten the offer. This is Busola, who is in Canada. got a job working with Desjardins in Canada, and so many other success stories. You have Fola. Fola joined us in February, completed our program in May, and by August, she had gotten this job working with the Federal Ministry of Health in British Columbia as a business analyst. And this is her saying, hello, I got the job. The contract was signed yesterday. Thank you. Okay, and so many other success stories. This is Benem, who is in the US, who joined our HR analytics program. All right, she joined us in January, completed our program in April, and in August, she got this job. And she was sending this message to her trainer at Analytics, Mary. Hi, Mary, I got the job. I want to give you an update. I got the job. And so many other stories, success stories, which I'll leave on the slide for you to read, have an amazing time, and get inspiration from people like this. Numerous professionals who have gone through Tenalytics, done our 6-step approach, and all the things I've shared with you today, they've also been able to do them. Our next cohort starts on the 7th of September. And how can you be a part of this cohort? All right. And this takes me to the amazing discounts I mentioned at the beginning that I have for you. For those of you joining, paying in dollars from the US, instead of paying $750, we have an amazing discount for the first 20 people who gets to be a part of the cohort coming up next on the 7th of September. So instead of paying $750, you get to pay just $600, which can also be made in 2 installments of $400 and $200. So $400 gets you into class. And the balance of $200 comes in 1 month after you've commenced the program. All right, and if you're paying in pounds, instead of paying £625, you get to pay only $500. And you can also make your payment in 2 installments of £350 to get started into class. And the balance of $150 comes in 1 month after the program commences. You're paid in euros. Instead of 730, you get to pay just 580, 400 and 180. And if you're paying in Canadian dollars, instead of 1,125, you get to pay just 900, 600 to get into class, and 300 a month after the program commences. So I'm going to walk you through the payments, how to make payments, and then I'll take your questions and we'll call it a day. But this is the amazing discounts we have. All the amazing, amazing people that have gotten jobs, they're earning 6 figures today. They've joined the program, they joined in January. In the month of August, they've gotten a job. They joined in March. In the month of August, they've gotten a job, like Busola, for example. How can you be a part of it? This is the best time for you to start. Get your journey started. I always tell people the most difficult step is to start. Once you get started, everything becomes easy peasy from there. Okay, so how do you make payments? All you have to do is click on this link. It takes you to the enrollment center. All right, and you can make payments in different options. From the enrollment center, you can get access to all the brochures to see the specifics of what you're going to learn, just like I listed out a few minutes ago. You have an amazing 20% discount. Don't forget that. Take advantage of the discount for the first 20 people. Now, you can make payment doing a direct transfer. That's one option. So if you're in Canada, you can pay using Interac. We are registered in Canada, Edmonton, Alberta. You can pay in Interac using the email finance@tenalytics.org. You can do a direct transfer to our pound accounts, euro, dollar, or naira accounts. Okay, and you also have option to make your payments using your card, your credit or debit card. All you have to do, select the program you want to join, say data analytics, for example. I click on that. It takes me to the data analytics page and I can enter my first installment. My first installment is what? I want to be a part of the first 20 so I don't lose out on the discount. If I'm part of the first 20, instead of paying 625, I only get to pay 500. So I come in here and I enter my first installment of £350. Enter that, click on reserve a seat, and this takes me into where I enter my full name, I enter my email and my phone number, your WhatsApp number, click on pay with card, enter your card details, and you submit and confirm payments. The moment you submit your payments, you receive an automated receipt into your email. It also comes with a registration form. So you fill the form and this gets you into class. All right, that's all you have to do. Now, for those who will be making payments, doing a direct transfer, I want to be part of the first 20. I want to make payments in Canadian dollars. I'll pay with Interac. Once you've done your direct transfer or you've transferred to the pound account, take a screenshot. Okay, take a screenshot of the payment, come back to this same platform and click on upload your receipts. Okay, once you click on upload your receipts, it brings you to a form. You fill the form, upload your receipts, and this gets you into class. Okay, so one other advice I want to give, because people always ask questions, Adeza, I'm not sure, do I do data analytics and so on? So once you are filling the form, enter your details, Adeza, let's say I enter my email, adeza@analytics.io, I click on next, I fill all the details, type of payment, I made initial payment, my first installment, click on next. What else? Click on yes. So you just fill the form, straightforward process, next, and so on and so forth. So the moment you click on next, after making payments, you see that you are in, enter your name, okay, your surname, and all the basic details, your bio data, just for us to get this. Okay, enter your Gmail. Okay, so you enter all these details, gender, male or female, select, click on next. And I want to show you something very important, okay? Read the terms and conditions, and you have questions, you can reach out to us via email, mobile, calling us, or through WhatsApp. Okay, send us a WhatsApp message. My colleagues will respond. You get the chance to speak with us. Click on next. You do what? Where did you make payment? Let's say I made payment today, 11th. Okay, upload your screenshots. So that's proof of payments. Come in here, add file, upload it. So I'm just going to upload a random file just to show you what you need to do. All right. So let me upload a random file, for example. Okay, so I pick this, upload it. Okay, so you upload your proof of payments. What was your mode of payments? Let's assume I paid through Interac. I select that, click on next. Okay, what's the name on the account? Because some of you, your brothers would pay for you, your uncles, your aunts, your parents, or you're paying for your spouse, or you're paying for your younger brother. Okay, so the name on the account where payment was made, you type it in. So I paid with my account. So I just enter my name, I click on next. Which program are you interested in? Now, this is very important. For some of you, you have questions. You are not sure, or you want to be in one of the programs. You've secured your discount slots. You are one of the first 20, but you want to speak with me personally, directly, for you to make a decision. Out of the 8, I'm torn between data analytics, data science. We hold clarity sessions every Tuesday. You have the opportunity to meet with me, meet with Efemena, the co-founder. So all you need to do is come in here and select, I need to speak with a professional, okay? And we organize to have a session with you, a clarity session, listen to your years of experience and advise you on what to do, all right? Go for data science, don't go for data analytics. Oh, I think you should go for data engineering based on your experience and so on. Click on next. What cohort do you want to join? And this is where you also have the opportunity to secure your discounts. So we have a cohort starting on the 7th of September, another one starting on the 5th of October, another on the 2nd of November, and the last cohort for 2024 would commence on the 7th of December. Okay, so let's take, for example, you have commitments in September, you can't join. but you want to secure the discount. And a lot of people are falling into this category. They joined the session, they had a good time, but the human mind would want to, oh, maybe I should not start now. Oh, I don't know if I should get into it now. I'll do it in October. But they come back in October and realize that the discount is no longer there. And you have to pay the full amount because there is no discount. So, we've had people who come back and say, oh, please, can I get access to the discount? But the discount is gone. So you can take advantage of the discount today, and you can start in November, for example, by selecting 2nd of November, or you can start 7th of December, and we organize for you to join that cohort that commences later in the year. You can start now, defer your program to October, November, or December. Or if you want to get started, which is start as early as you can, start in September, fill all the details, submit the form, and you are in with us at Tenalytics. Okay? I'll take questions and we call it a day. So I'll run through the charts to see the questions you have. I'll also want to hear from you. If you want to speak, feel free, unmute yourself. I'll be very happy to, have your question and answer. And, ensure I answer the question. Can I pay in 3 installments? So yes, you can, but let me explain the way it works. You've joined the session, you want to be a part of the program, but today you don't have 350 pounds. If you are paying in pounds, for example, so I'm going to use pounds to give this example. So the discounted fee is 500 pounds. First installment is 350. But today I don't have 350 and I don't want to lose out on the discount. You can secure your slots with 200 pounds today. And before the class starts on the 7th of September, you make the second payment of 150. So this gives you the total of what? 350 pounds. And then the last one comes in a month after you've started. So comes in at the end of September. So before you start, you must have paid 350. So you can pay 200 today, lock in your discounts. Next week, I'm going to get money at the end of the week. You pay the other 150 pound to complete your 350. So if that's what you mean by 3 installments, absolutely, you can get that done. Okay, that's how it works. So let's take questions. If you want to ask questions, please raise your hand. I can see Kabir. Kabir's hand is up. I'm going to call Kabir to unmute and answer. While Kabir is speaking, I'm going to check for questions in the chat. So Kabir, let's hear from you. How are you doing today, Kabir? Kabir, I've asked you to unmute yourself. So please go ahead. Let's hear from you. I think Kabir is struggling with his mic. Are you there, Kabir?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you now. How are you doing today, Kabir? Where are you joining us from?
I'm joining from Nigeria, northern Nigeria.
Kabir, unfortunately, your network is a bit poor, so I'm struggling to hear you. So what you can do is type your question in the chat. I'm going to go over to Joyce. So Joyce, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourself. Let's hear from you, Joyce. Joyce, how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. And you, Adeza?
Yeah,
okay. I guess I've spoken to you before over the phone. Suleiman, yeah, I'm sure I am.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so far. I've been joining the sessions, just to also educate myself and all of that. And I'm in conversation with your team as well. But speaking to the Agile Project Management Manager piece, I want to know the opportunities, because as data analyst, you have several roles you could apply to.
Yes.
You're not stuck with just being a data analyst. You have opportunities abound. So speaking to the Agile piece, what are the roles, the opportunities? Of course, okay, you have again demystify the fact that, because of giving the fact that we will be opportune to have the projectized internship with analytics. So it doesn't matter. There's no entry level. I heard you say that. Yeah. So I mean, essentially, if you have those experiences in those requirements, that suffices. But
Yes.
essentially, that's agile piece. What are the
Yes.
opportunities? Because I've not heard it in any. Well, maybe I missed it in any of the sessions. I would really like to call. I would really like some. I mean, insight on that. Thank you so very well. I mean, thank you. Your team. You guys are fantastic. Essentially, like you guys are fantastic, and thank you for the good work you're doing. And grace to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joyce. Fantastic. Thanks for the kind words. So, as an agile project manager, first of all, the same type of project the business analyst would work on, which involves building a web application. Those are that's the type of project you'd work on. So you would be the agile project manager on that project, implementing the Scrum methodology and Kanban, as the case might be. So you have the opportunity to bring those skills in a practical real life scenario, working with an agile project manager, helping you through the journey, solving that particular problem. So you build that web application, which is a product for the company, ensuring that that particular product meets the demand, meets the requirements, meets the needs. You organize the Scrum, the daily Scrum, you organize the Scrum team and ensure that it's a self-learning team. You remove impediments where there are impediments, implementing all the things you've learned in class. You can get a job as a Scrum Master. You can get a job as an Agile coach. You can get a job as an Agile project manager, an Agile program manager, a lean Agile coach, a technical Scrum Master, Scrum team facilitator, Agile delivery manager, Scrum Master consultant, project manager, PMO analyst, and the role goes on and on and on. Okay, so you'd see certain type of job roles, especially in organizations where they build products, in organizations where they build applications, in the banking industry, for example, in FMCG, so many different industries. They need people that understand, are experts with the agile framework, okay? And this is where you shine. So what we also teach you how to do is not just focus on the job role, okay? The title, the job title, don't just focus on that. Look at the job requirements and see if your skills fit into it. And I'll give you a typical example. If I write this product, reliability engineer, nobody would ever assume or believe that a product reliability engineer role is simply a business analyst. Okay, so you see organizations recouch the title to make it more attractive and look for specific type of skills based on their needs at that point in time. So you want to know how to look for the job requirements, look at what is listed and see if it fits your skills. If it does, you go ahead and apply. You don't wait until you are done with the entire 4 months before you start to apply to jobs. Okay, so these are some of the things that you learn during your CV sessions, you're navigating the job markets. And everybody, if I go to the platform based off on Joyce's question, if I show you what the platform looks like, your live classes, okay, your live classes, if I go to, let me just open anyone because of time. So let's go to business analysis. If I go to the business analysis live class, and the beauty of the live class is you don't miss anything. So if for any reason there was a CV review session. It's a live session. So this platform I'm showing you currently is for the live classes. Your mentorship sessions are live. They are all here. Okay, so if I scroll down a little bit, you'll see mentorship session, the power of focus. So all the sessions you find on this platform, they are live sessions. All right, so you miss any session, say you miss this session, for example, the recording is there. You come in here, click on the recording. This session was taken by Femena, the co-founder. You can see Femena right there. And you can watch, listen in, you understand everything that was done. This is Femena delivering his presentation on Thursday last week. Okay, now, why did I come here? I want to show you, based on Joyce's question, one of the things you also get is, what type of jobs can I apply to? It's very important for us because as a business analyst, you're not just applying to business analyst jobs. As an agile project manager, you're not just applying to agile project management. So we provide you with a document like this. And these documents would inform how you tailor your LinkedIn summary, your profile page on your LinkedIn, ensuring that the right keywords are there. And you'd also see the jobs you can apply to, different job roles, and so on and so forth. Okay, so every single program, we provide this for you. What type of jobs can you apply to? And this is a live session where we walk you through step by step. So you don't miss anything. If you miss any class, let's say you miss this class on deployments and UAT, for example, you come in here, your class slides are available. You have access to the slides, you can download them, work with the slides, and you can watch the recording, which gives you insights into everything that was done in class on that day. Okay, so if I move forward, you'd see, and this is where, like I mentioned earlier, you have the unique opportunity to speak, ask questions, stop. I'm doing this, I'm getting something else. And this is where you get an instructor-led session. And this gives you the best. Now, let's go to the LMS, which is where you have your self-paced classes on Sundays. Now, for everybody who joins, you come to the website, you log in, you have access to your dashboard. Structured environments, welcome Adeza. Okay, so you have the LMS. Let's say I'm in the business analysis program. I click on continue learning. And from here, I can watch my videos at my own convenience. Okay, I start with Excel, Power BI, SQL, introduction to business analysis, project initiation planning, and I can watch all these videos and practice the things I see in the videos. Okay, practical, I look at that, do the same things I can see, and this is where you get to learn at your own convenience, at your own time. And of course, you have an interview. What do? All you need to do is come in here, under interview preparation, you click on what? Schedule appointments. Okay, you want to interview for which particular role? Cybersecurity, HR analytics. Click on any of the particular role, all right? Full stack data science, click on next, and then you can select the time. So you have Ibrahim, you have Precious, okay? I want to book a session. I click on this link. It takes me into a Calendly. So I can look for the time that is available. There's a time available on Tuesday. I come in here, click on that. I want to have my interview prep at 2 p.m. I click on 2 p.m., click on next, enter my name, enter my email, and I enter the job description for the job I've applied to, schedule events, and somebody would come in at this particular time, work with me to prepare me for that interview. So this is what your LMS looks like, okay? So you can request for your reference letter right here. And you have an amazing, there's no time, so I can't show you this. I'd have loved to show you Oluko. Oluko is the Tenalytics AI trainer. So we implemented an AI trainer trained with the latest GPT model just like a chat GPT, but this is tailored for you getting a job. So I could come in here and type, my first name is Joyce. Click on submit, all right? And Oluko would ask me, what do I want? It can help, Oluko can help me answer career-related questions, course content explanations, code-based issues. So if I'm writing my data science codes, Python codes on my Jupyter notebook, or I'm writing queries on SQL, or I'm working on a data pipeline project, and I'm writing Python codes on VS Code, I could come here, click on code-based issues, copy that error I have, paste it here, and Oluko will tell me what to do. Interview prep, I have an interview. I can click on this, and Oluko would ask me to do what? Copy the job description, paste it here, and it will give me questions and possible answers to that. So you have an all-inclusive platform to prepare you for that job, okay? So thanks for that question, Joyce. It just helped me explain other aspects. Do you guys help with interview as well as just support? I think I've answered that question already, Shane. Can someone with good experience in Power BI and ML have a crash program instead of 4? No, we don't have a crash program. We don't believe in crash programs because there is so little you can get in a crash program. And that's the mindset a lot of people have. Well, I'm just going to watch a video on YouTube and I start to apply to jobs. You must follow the process, like I explained, and that's where you unlock amazing opportunities. I want to inquire about the mentorship. To have access to the mentorship, Love, I think that's your name. To have access to the mentorship, you must be in one of our programs, one of the 8 programs, and that's where you get access to the mentorship. Okay, let me take a question from Abiola. Abiola, I'm going to ask you to unmute, and I think this will be my last question for today. Like I said, take advantage of the discounts, ensure that you join. And for those of you still confused, oh, I'm a care worker, I don't know if I should go for business analysis or I should go for data analytics, we have a clarity session, okay? Ensure, secure your discounts, lock it in, and we have a clarity session with you on Tuesday to help you answer those questions. Yeah, so let me take question from Abiola. Abiola, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning, Abiola. Your name sounds very familiar. Have we met before?
I'm not sure, but I got to know about this organization, I think yesterday through one of the contacts on LinkedIn. So
Okay.
that was how the thing started. And my question is this: I have 2 questions. Number one, about the payment.
Yes.
Here, I can't pay directly from this country. But
where are you based, Abiola?
I'm in Russia.
Okay, so go ahead.
And I want to ask, I have a card that I can, if I have money in my Naira account, I can use the card to pay in any currency. So I want to confirm if it can work with your platform. That is number one.
Go ahead.
And the second question is about the timing.
Yes.
The time may not really favor me because I'm 7 hours ahead of you.
Which program do you want to join, Abiola?
Data analytics.
Data analytics. Okay, go ahead.
So I now want to confirm if I'm just going for all these recording classes, will it be all right for me, or how can you help me to adjust the timing?
Okay. All right. All right. Fantastic. Two fantastic questions. And I think I've seen a similar question as well for people saying, no, I want to pay in Naira. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. Okay. Now, the reason why we don't list Naira as one of the options you have here on my screen is because the Naira has been very volatile over the last two to 3 weeks. Okay, so if you are making payments currently in Naira, the Naira payment is, as of today, for those who want to secure their discounts, the Naira payment is, the discounted fee is 1 million Naira. Okay, and you can make your first installment 700K, second installment is 300K for those paying in Naira. Now, last month, it was lower than this in Naira, but guess what? Naira is very volatile currently, and that's why you don't even see Naira listed. You make payments in dollars, in pounds, in euros, or in Canadian dollars. Now, going back to your question, Abiola, once you click on the link, it takes you, it shows you the currency based on your location. So you have a card that you can use to make payments. Absolutely fantastic. So once you click on the link, you should either see the payments in euros. So if you come in here, for example, let me be sure you can see. Yes, you come in here, you can do a direct transfer, Abiola, to our Naira account, which is the account name, Mainstack Tenalytics Payment Center. It's a Wema Bank account. You can do a direct transfer. That's one option. Another option, if you click on data analytics, you are likely going to see the payments in US dollars or in euros. And you can pay with that card, like you mentioned. Okay, that should work out for you. Now, if the card option doesn't work, perhaps you can do a transfer, like I mentioned earlier. You can do that to the Naira account or to any other accounts that I mentioned. To the Naira account or to the Euro account, to the pound account, or you simply just pay using your card. So the second question on the timing for the data analytics program is very flexible. So you have two timings like I listed. Okay, you have 11, whoops, sorry, let me just write this. Okay, let me write it here. You have 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. for those in the UK time. Okay, now you said your time is 7 hours ahead of, I'm not sure where exactly, but I'm assuming 7 hours ahead of UK time. So if you add 7 hours plus 7 hours to this time, this would give you 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. your time, Russian time. Okay, this will give you 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Russian time. Now, this is a class you can join. The other class is 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So if I also want to just do a quick Google search, when is 10 a.m.? So 10 a.m. is around, in the UK, 10 a.m. in Canada would be around 4 a.m. UK, okay? So let's say 3 a.m. UK time to 6 a.m. So those in the US, those in Canada would have a timing that if anybody, sorry, I think I'm getting this wrong. The UK is ahead, not behind, okay? So in the UK, that will be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., which is another time for the second class. So this is the first class. And the second class is 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So if you add 7 hours to this will be very late for you. So this will be around 1 a.m. your time to 3 a.m. your time, which is very early in the morning. So I think this would be the preferred time for you on Saturday. The class that starts at 11 a.m. in the UK, which will be 6 p.m. your time. So that will be the best class for you to start. However, like I mentioned earlier, if for any reason you miss a class, although we don't want you to miss too many classes because the classes are very, very important. Okay, it's important to attend classes, but in case you miss a class, this is what happens. If I go back to the classroom, you have something we call drop-in sessions. what are the drop-in sessions? So Abiola has joined the class. You've joined the program, you missed the class on Saturday. Every Wednesday, every single Wednesday, there is a drop-in session, which is like a makeup class. Okay, so you've missed the class, you've watched the recording, you've looked at the slides, but you want to interact with a human being. You want to interact with your trainer who can tell you that, okay, this was what we did. This is how you need to prepare for the next class on Saturday. So there's a drop-in session that holds every single Wednesday. And you also have the opportunity, Abiola, we are going to be in a WhatsApp group. You have opportunity to chat, interact with your trainer to help bring you up to speed in any particular area where you are lacking behind. I beg your pardon. So those are the two things I would recommend for you. I don't know if I answered your question, Abiola. If that answers your question, okay, fantastic. Abiola says thanks for the response. So please, I need 3 installment payments in dollars. So Obina, again, like I mentioned earlier, to secure your slots, you are paid in dollars. You have $600, which is the discounted fee. 400 is the first installment, but you don't have 400 today. You can pay a 200. And before your program starts on the 7th of September, you pay the other 200. It's not set in stone, okay? The entire goal, just remember this, is before you start, you must have paid your first installment of 400. For some people, they decide, okay, this week I'm going to pay 150, second week 150, third week 100, and that completes 400. And the 200 comes in a month after you start. Just have it at the back of your mind that before you can start Obina, you must have paid, between now and the end of August, you must have paid $400 US. However you want to break it down, you have the option to do that to secure your slots. Same with pounds, same with Canadian. I don't know if that helps to answer your question. Okay, I would like to apply for a contract job. Grace, contract jobs are absolutely phenomenal. Yes, you can get contract jobs. For people asking, do you get a certificate? Yes, you get a certificate from us. Once you complete your program, you have a capstone project. You complete the capstone project, that is what takes you into the internship. So after your capstone project, you get a certificate because the capstone assesses that you have the skills to apply and get jobs, okay? So once you complete that, you have a feedback, you go make it better, and then you get your certificates from us, and then you join the internship. If you're starting in December, we can pay £100 each month. Absolutely, Fatima, you can do that since you're not starting now. We're starting in December. You can secure your slots. So it doesn't matter if the fee goes up. So maybe next month, no discounts, but you would have gotten the £500 discount. So you pay £100 in September, another £100 in October, another £100, that's 300. And before you start in December, you balance the 50, which is 350. It's a way for you to secure your slots. And I think I'm going to stop here. I'll stop the session here today. I know we have so many more questions. So guys, take advantage of the discounts, secure your slots, get your journey started. The most difficult thing is to start. Once you can start, everything is easy from there. I hope you had a fantastic time. If you had a fantastic time today, type in yes into the chat. I had a wonderful Sunday with you guys. Brilliant questions, phenomenal questions. And I'd love to have you join us in the September cohort. For those of you joining in October, for those of you joining in November or December. Thank you very much, guys. Once you fill the attendance form, you would receive all the details from today's session. Finally, before we call it a day, if you have a brother, you have a sister, you have a colleague, you have a friend that you think can benefit from a program like this, share the message with them. It's also a way for you to have an accountability partner during the program. So follow us across all our socials, go to YouTube, Okay, go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics on YouTube. Go to YouTube, search for Tenalytics, go to the Tenalytics YouTube page, click on the logo, subscribe, so you're the first person to get videos, details for all the things we do. You have testimonials, people like Joel, who got a job as a data engineer working remotely. Vivian, you get to listen to Vivian. Victor, who got a job with a finance company. So you have amazing, numerous testimonials from over about 200 people. You can watch all day long. You also get access to video content. I had 2 months ago, listen to Efemena, listen to Chukwuemeka, and so on and so forth. And you get to learn amazing stuff from our platform, okay? You can learn how to, write your very first Python code by watching any of these videos. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn. Go on LinkedIn, search Adeza, search Tenalytics, and follow us on LinkedIn. You'll be the first person to know the amazing, amazing initiatives that we bring to the table. Finally, have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for spending your Sunday with us. And I would love to work with you to get your journey started. Thank you very much, guys, and have an amazing time. Cheers, everyone.